Instantly, the heavens were moved. Instantly, the heavens were moved. The people from the noble world were all stupefied as they looked in disbelief at the reappearance of the light. As for the people from the other realms, their expressions instantly turned complicated. Those who silently acknowledged the abilities of the black-robed messenger were still okay. As for those people who had spoken out to belittle Long Fei, they instantly turned into a bitter melon. As for the black-robed messenger, he suddenly stopped. His trump card had already been broken by Long Fei. If he did not stop now, he would be waiting for the backlash. This sort of technique that was close to the level of law was already heaven-defying. If he were to suffer a backlash, it would definitely not end well. Thus, in an instant, the black-robed messenger had retracted all of his techniques and forced himself to endure a wave of force. He vomited blood and gradually calmed down. As for Long Fei, he stood tall in the starry sky with a face full of ridicule. Endless starlight descended and enveloped Long Fei. This caused Long Fei to be just like a reaper walking in the starry sky. It was incomparably grand and terrifying. This was because his harvest was to reap lives. Impossible. This is the power of laws, the strongest natural law under the heavens. How can you instantly break it? This is impossible. No one is unaffected by the laws of the sky. The black-clothed person's shock was so great that even the cloak could not suppress his fear. Calm down. If I let you not accept it now, I'm afraid that after this, you will kneel down and beg for forgiveness. That way it won't be fun, Long Fei said, and the playfulness on his mouth became even stronger. Following that, Long Fei gently raised a finger in his hand. In the blink of an eye, everyone in the Paragon realm exploded out. This is the power of the envoy in green. How could he do this? No, quickly dodge. This is a finger strike that can destroy the heavens. It is also a type of heavenly law. No, do not do it. You know the methods of a realm envoy, so you might be related to my realm envoy as well. My lord, quickly stop. The people from the noble world immediately opened their mouths to beg for forgiveness. They knew this method, so they naturally knew how terrifying this power was. Immediately, without any hesitation, he started begging for mercy. Even the black-robed receiver's expression changed drastically. The few people who had followed him earlier took advantage of this time to explosively retreat. Qingyi's methods? How is that possible? Could it be that you are the sun god's god of boundary? The black-clothed envoy suddenly opened his mouth as if he had thought of something. But Long Fei acted as if he did not hear it. All sound was blocked, and then his finger descended directly onto the ground. Boom! Rumble! Rumble! A large expanse of stars exploded with a loud rumble in the middle of Long Fei's finger attack. The direction of this skill was to crush the people of the Supreme Realm. Besides the black-robed messenger and a few others, no one else had escaped. Instantly, it turned into mud. One strike worked. Seeing this effect, Long Fei was also overjoyed. Damn, is this skill really that strong? I originally thought that it was some sort of trashy method, but now it seems that it is also a type of power of law. Long Fei was very satisfied in his heart. He hadn't used this skill yet. They were all using the supreme means of the system. However, he did not expect that it would bring him such a pleasant surprise. Cough, cough. Boy, I advise you to stop when you have enough. Don't think that you could do whatever you want just because you've been promoted to the Yang God realm. I don't know. He has long been our target. If you were willing to surrender today, you might have a chance of survival. Otherwise, when my great army from the revered realm arrives, everything in your Yang God realm will be reduced to ash. The black-robed messenger said coldly and started to threaten him. But Long Fei didn't care at all. The more the black-robed messenger spoke, the stronger Long Fei's killing intent would be. Not to mention Hong Yi, just the fact that the Yang God realm now belonged to his woman was more than enough. The reason why they wanted to deal with the Yang God realm was precisely because they wanted to touch Long Fei's woman. Could Long Fei bear it? Impossible. In an instant, Long Fei raised his right hand once again. At the same time, two sets of outer robes appeared in his hands, one green and one yellow. Boom! 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 In an instant, an incomparably violent power of law burst forth from the two outer garments. Your father doesn't know the result of disobeying your sovereign world. However, you will soon know the result of offending Lousy. Now, I only have these two, and you will soon be the third. As Longface said that, the smile in his eyes suddenly disappeared and directly transformed into killing intent. And then, the chaos battle sword came crashing down. Boom! A sword light sliced through the sky, bringing with it a domineering aura that could destroy everything, and suddenly descended. Roar! The sword's cry shook the heavens and earth as it whistled through the air. As for the black-robed messenger, he had long since lost his courage to fight. It was like a joke as he turned around and left. But Longfei simply could not give him the chance to do so. He came in a flurry to try his luck, yet he turned around and wanted to leave? Where did this good thing come from? Nothing that I value can escape. Die! Longfei's voice congealed, and the primal chaos battle sword instantly chased after him. Boom! Rumble! One sword soaring into the skies, slaying countless stars. The massive and violent sword intent had completely destroyed everything in its way. Shwa shwa shwa. The people of the noble world, one by one, were unable to react in time and were directly killed by Longfei's sword. Even the black-clothed messenger wasn't able to dodge this time. In the end, this chaos battle sword cut into his back. No, don't kill me. If you kill me, you'll become enemies with the entire supreme realm. The power of a noble world is not something you can imagine. The black-robed envoy still threatened him. In front of death, this was his only hope of survival. But unfortunately, to Longfei, threats were of no value at all. They only saw Longfei's figure flash as the primal chaos battle sword once again slashed out. Boom! Swish! With this sword, the black-robed messenger was beheaded. His body and head were separated, and he was deader than dead. At this point, all the people from the noble world had been killed by Longfei, and not a single one remained. For a moment, Longfei stood in the air and became the sole focal point of this entire stretch of starry sky. So boring. I thought that they were bullied. I didn't expect them to be a bunch of brats. Longfei said helplessly. What he didn't know was that his words left an endless shadow in the hearts of the people in the myriad realms below them. Instantly, puff, 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 one by one, the kneeling voices appeared. My lord, don't kill us. Lord, we were wrong. We shouldn't have slandered you just now. Lord, in the future, we will definitely view the young god realm as a god, and will definitely not dare to disobey them. Longfei's violence immediately made them admit defeat. He didn't dare to have the slightest bit of fluke and immediately begged for forgiveness. Longfei sneered and ignored him, because right now, he was more concerned about what the black-robed receiver would drop. At that moment, the system beeped out. Ding! Ding! Congratulations to player Longfei for killing the black-robed messenger from Supreme Realm. You have received 8 million experience points, 800,000 holy source points, and 1 striking value point. Ding! Congratulations to player Longfei for killing the black-robed messenger from Supreme Realm. You have received 8 million experience points, 800,000 holy source points, and 1 striking value point. Ding! Congratulations player for obtaining Tempest of the Night. Ding! Congratulations player for obtaining Shadow Cloak set. The system exploded. Experience was a great experience. It wasn't a boss, but it gave 800 million experience. Ding ding. Immediately after, there was another series of notifications. It was brought to him that Longfei had killed some of the honorary disciples, which gave him a total of 3 billion experience points. Ha ha ha, great. If this goes on, we won't be far from leveling up. This place where 10,000 worlds intersect. It really is quite pleasurable. Longfei's heart felt great and was incomparably comfortable. Experience this kind of thing was never excessive with Longfei. The more, the better. However, Longfei would naturally not forget. There is still something on this black-robed receiver that he wanted. Berserk mode activated. Longfei thought. The system went berserk. Instantly, another notification sounded. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Dark Knight Heavenly Robe. In an instant, a streak of black light flashed and landed in the center of Long Fei's palm. Thick power of darkness jumped around in Long Fei's hands, exactly the same as the bright green and yellow jacket from before. It was a complete version of the laws of the sky. Tianyi, the laws of the heavens? Awesome. The power of this transcendent world is truly unique. I wonder just how many more of these existences exist. I wonder if I can collect a complete set for my wife. Long Fei thought. This thought had been in Long Fei's mind from the very beginning. Not only that, but he had originally thought that this object's defense was extremely strong. Now, he knew that it contained a heavenly law within it. He was filled with yearning. Perhaps the envoy of the revered realm would never have thought that Long Fei would already have set his sights on him before he even appeared. And at this time, under the bridge, Long Fei's arrogance caused everyone to be taken aback. The fear began to spread. Those who came from the 10,000 worlds simply did not dare to say a single word and directly crawled on the ground, waiting for Long Fei to speak. Long Fei was too lazy to bother about it. After all, he wasn't a murderer. Since the other party didn't provoke him, he wouldn't initiate a massacre either. However, Long Fei would also not let go of those people who harbored evil intentions towards him. You all can ascend the bridge now, but I will remember those who said they were against my world and wait for me to come across your world. Long Fei did not say much. There was no time to waste with them. The place where 10,000 worlds intersected was right in front of him. Entering this heavenly bridge was a completely different world. Long Fei was already impatient. In addition, in this place where 10,000 worlds intersected, there was still one thing he wanted to do. 13 ancient emperors. After Long Batian, the strongest symbol that appeared before the time warp. How could Long Fei not be moved? Furthermore, with the 13 great emperors' inheritances in his hands, Long Fei would naturally not let go of the benefits that a boss-level secret world would receive. However, right now, he knew nothing at all about this place where 10,000 worlds intersected. Only by entering could he learn more. As for the people who were called out by Long Fei, all of their faces were ashen. However, he did not dare to retort and could only lower his head, not saying a word. And Long Fei did not hesitate anymore. His gaze turned and immediately looking towards the heavenly bridge. Countless rays of light descended from the sky, like a light that was being attracted. At this moment, they were still constantly flickering. There was no need to explain. Long Fei's figure directly stepped into the light barrier with a single step. In an instant, the heavenly bridge formed once again, immediately reaching the other side. And right now, only Long Fei was standing on top of the bridge. No one dared to go up. No one dared to approach him. It was as if at this moment, this place had already become Long Fei's special area. Long Fei did not hold back. All of this was done by him using his two fists. He enjoyed this pride. Following that, Long Fei stepped into the light and headed towards the front. However, right at this moment, Long Fei felt that there seemed to be an extremely mysterious power erupting in the center of the light. Then, Long Fei's heart sank. He could clearly feel that his body was being pulled by an uncontrollable force. It was as if he had entered a vacuum, causing his strength to increase rapidly. This place is really strange. The entire feeling was extremely ethereal, as though he was flying, without even needing to control it. It seemed to be a bridge link, but in reality, Long Fei felt like it was a teleportation circle. Without any time to think, he brought them to another area. In the blink of an eye, the light vanished and everything calmed down. Long Fei opened his eyes and looked at the world before him. Instantly, he felt disgust for those monstrous waves in his heart. An inexplicable sense of familiarity directly appeared in Long Fei's heart. It was as if he had been here before. Why would there be such a feeling? Is there any connection between the Dragon Clan and here? Long Fei pondered in his heart, but he was still unable to find any traces of her. Helpless, he could only give up. He started to focus his gaze at the center of the intersection of 10,000 worlds. This place was not as small as he had imagined. On the contrary, it was incomparably large. Even the strength of his current cultivation and body was unable to see through everything with the naked eye. It was even bigger than a divine space. Furthermore, Long Fei was sure that he was now at the edge of the intersection, and he was God knows how far away he was from the center. It was also at this moment that the people from the previous worlds began to pass through the heavenly bridge and enter this place. Moreover, once they entered this place, it was as if they had a destination already, and they began to advance in a certain direction. Long Fei was startled for a moment, and then immediately walked forward. Where is the battlefield in which God of Boundary fights for hegemony? Long Fei went straight to the point. However, the moment he said those words, the person in front of him froze. Master, although the war for the God of Boundary has begun, it will still take some time for it to truly start. The competition for hegemony in the God of Boundary. There are simply too many worlds, and not all worlds have the qualifications to participate. For example, our great Yang world is an established world. We've already been in this world for several generations, and it's not something that an ordinary world can compare to. Of course, the Lord's world of the Sun God is an exception. That person had a humble expression, but when he spoke of his own world, he still revealed a complacent expression. The meaning behind his words was that even if he was the only one capable, so what? Coming here, wasn't it a rootless duckweed? The struggle for supremacy in the God of Boundary was based on the world after all. Hearing this, Long Fei was slightly taken aback. He thought that this was only his first time fighting for the God of Boundary, but now it seems like it was not the case at all. In the endless space of primal chaos, Lin Ming didn't know how many times he had fought for the throne. There were even many powerhouses from many different worlds who chose to stay and operate their own powers. So, are you saying that the people of the noble world also have their own forces here? Long Fei raised his eyebrows and asked. The Yang God realm, time and space on the other side of the river. The Yang God realm, time and space on the other side of the river. Hong Yi, Hong Chuya, Yuro, Lu Luoxi, and the others were gathered together. Even the inheritors of the Li Wuxin and the other great emperors were solemn and respectful. Yi Zichen stared at the empty space with a look of anticipation. Izu, do you think Long Fei will participate in the competition for the God of Boundary? Hong Chuya asked. That's right. I wonder how he's been these past few months. Lu Luoxi also said, his face full of worry. Hong Yi smiled in a meaningful manner, but didn't say anything. Right at this moment, the little guy, unparalleled dragon, took a step forward. He controlled a mini millstone in his hand and said, Don't worry, your father is so strong. Ancient world will definitely not be able to stop him. Maybe the Emperor Xian or the Lord of Primal Chaos have all become ghosts under father's sword. I have faith in my father. The little guy said. He didn't seem to care at all. Definitely. When Boss left, his cultivation base was even more amazing than Hong Yi. Hong Yi's cultivation can completely suppress the ancient world's top experts. What Heavenly Emperor is useless in front of Hong Yi. But when Boss left, he was even more awesome than Hong Yi. He'll definitely be fine. Li Yuanba also said. His height of over 2 meters did not change at all, but the aura on his body was even more refined. Even his words had an intimidating power. It wasn't just him, the rest of the people were the same. The trip from the Yang God realm had immediately allowed them to improve by leaps and bounds, reaching a whole new level. Moreover, they had also gone through a baptism of sorts after the promotion of the Sun God world. All were promoted. Take the 8 King Kong, for example. Before this, they had already obtained the inheritance of the 8 great demon kings and became the Sun God. However, the battle after that was the best it could be. He was baptized again. Now, it had already reached a different level. Every single one of them had a surging aura, and with their special powers, they were not much weaker than Hong Yi. At this time, Hong Yi also opened his mouth and said, We'll definitely not be able to suppress Long Fei. I have a kind of premonition that we will definitely meet Long Fei during the war for the God of Boundary. In fact, the entire war for supremacy in the God of Boundary would become his home ground, the foundation for his victory in battle. Hong Yi said he had absolute confidence in Long Fei. Said, "These are the most pleasant words you've said for so many days. Why don't you see whose boss it is?" Zhang Yu said, "Then what are we waiting for? Let's go." F***CK. Chen Tianfei was even more furious. He did not want to wait any longer and directly urged Hong Yi to use his methods. In the next moment, Hong Yi left the other shore. Not bad. This time, it was forged after the baptism of heaven and earth, and the power was even stronger. "Let's go," he shouted loudly. One figure after another began to charge into the ship, and then, with a flash of light, the ship instantly disappeared into the void. Phoenix Realm. The endless flames continued to burn, and there were no accidents in the world. They were all flames. This was Phoenix Fire. It could burn everything in the world. In the center of the flames, several hundred figures were gathered. Bang! Suddenly, an earth-shattering sound rang out. "Master! It's the Master! The Holy Maiden is the Holy Maiden. She could actually cause the Master to personally come out." Shouts of surprise appeared one after another as they looked up into the sky with incomparable reverence. The entire sky was set ablaze by the phoenix flames, turning red in color. Among them, a phoenix soared, its body enormous, directly submerging the entire world. With a flap of its wings, the heaven and earth was covered. This scene caused the people below them to feel even more veneration. Immediately after, everyone kneeled down and kowtowed with incomparable reverence and respect. Only one person remained standing in his original spot. He was the Holy Maiden that everyone spoke of. It was also Jojo. "Master," Jojo said indifferently, her tone ice-cold. "AI, all of you can leave for now. Let me speak to the Holy Maiden in private." It was also at this time that an enormous phoenix in the form of a human appeared in the sky, directly appearing in front of Jojo. "Yes, Master." At Master's command, everyone immediately began to deduce and leave respectfully. In an instant, only Jojo and the old lady remained. "You hate me?" the old woman said. "Yes," Jojo said coldly. He raised his head slightly, and his eyes were filled with an endless iciness. If Long Fei was here and saw Jojo's expression, he would definitely explode. She was a kind-hearted person who would always submit to any circumstances. She would never take the initiative to kill a single person. And now, there was actually such a huge amount of killing intent and resentment. If he hadn't endured some unspeakable pain, he definitely wouldn't have done this. "You clearly know that I only have Big Brother Long Fei in my heart, yet you still insist on using my marriage as a bargaining chip. Don't tell me that I shouldn't hate you," Jojo said word by word. "Long Fei? It's simply a joke. Do you really think he's worthy of you? It's just a piece of trash from a lower world. You don't even have the qualifications to compete for the God of Boundary. How can you be worthy? Besides, I'm doing this for your own good. As a member of the Phoenix Realm, he should have this realization. All of your plans will be made to let your Phoenix Realm take a step further. No matter who it is, as long as he can suppress all the heroes in the competition for the God of Boundary, he will be your man. I don't care what you think, but you better listen to me obediently. Otherwise, I don't mind personally going to the ancient world to kill that piece of trash that you've been thinking about day and night." The old woman spoke with a threatening tone. In an instant, panic appeared on his face. He extended his hand and grabbed the old woman. "No, Master, please don't hurt Big Brother Long Fei," Jojo pleaded. At this moment, all hope in his heart was extinguished. She no longer hoped that Long Fei would be able to come to his side, that he would be able to become a god, that he would be able to sweep away all the heroes of the realm, and that he would be able to stand in front of him. Or perhaps, regardless of everything, he would struggle free and follow Long Fei. Because she knew that was impossible. Long Fei was her everything. She would not accept anything that was harmful to Long Fei had happened. Thus, at this moment, he accepted his fate and stopped struggling. Seeing Jojo's expression, the old lady nodded her head in satisfaction. It's good that you understand. It's getting late. You should be preparing to head to the place where the 10,000 worlds intersect. Remember, before the battle for supremacy begins, there will be people from the tyrannical world that will come forward to propose. At that time, you must listen to this Empress arrangements. Otherwise, this Empress absolutely will not guarantee that something bad will happen. As the old woman spoke, she waved her hand and left. Only Jojo was left, paralyzed on the ground, crying bitterly without making a sound. Big brother Long Fei, as long as you are fine, even if Jojo dies, Jojo will be willing. At the place where 10,000 realms intersected, Long Fei's figure directly followed the people from the Great Sun Realm. At the place where 10,000 realms intersected, Long Fei's figure directly followed the people from the Great Sun Realm. The goal was clear. That was the power of the noble world. This time, Long Fei had already decided to take the initiative to cause trouble. He had to create a peaceful place before the people from the Yang God Realm arrived. He had to carve out a pure land for them to live in peace. And the best way was to establish a might. Aren't the noble realms all awesome? Then I will overturn the heritage of the noble world and directly replace it with Li Han's. When that time came, who in the all-world would dare to refuse? And at this time, 5 days had passed since they had entered this place where 10,000 worlds intersected. This was a forbidden zone, and the rules of this place were extremely chaotic. Because all worlds intersected, it meant that the power of laws of all worlds was completely fused. Thus, flying was directly prohibited. As for tearing space itself apart, it didn't even exist. Thus, they could only rely on external strength to continue forward. This is too slow. If we continue like this, how long will it take for us to reach the center of the 10,000 worlds? Long Fei had a bitter face. These 5 days were a type of torture to him. If it wasn't for the fact that he didn't know the location of the noble world, he would have long ago relied on the power of his fleshly body to soar into the sky. Lord, it's not too late. Our airship is almost unable to sustain such a high energy consumption. 2 of it has been scrapped. Kid, you still don't know how to reply. The people of the Great Sun Realm had bitter expressions on their faces. In front of Long Fei, they could only follow him obediently. He didn't dare to disobey at all. When Long Fei said 1, they didn't dare to say 2. When Long Fei said to head east, they did not dare head west. Moreover, after seeing how powerful Long Fei was, let alone wasting a few flying machines, they wouldn't even care about using up all of their energy. In the face of life and death, everything was as fleeting as a fleeting cloud. Surviving was the true way of kings. Cut the crap. Just tell me, how much longer will it take for me to reach your great Yang world? Long Fei said impatiently. However, he was very satisfied with their performance. It was even a bit funny. Along the way, the people of the great Yang world acted rather restrained. But Long Fei could feel that their essences were not bad. At least, he didn't have any ill intentions towards him. Half a month, my lord. I dare to guarantee it with my life. In half a month at most, I will arrive at the location of the powers of the Great Sun Realm. The leader of the Great Sun world suddenly said. He had a resolute expression on his face. It was as if a military order had been made. However, a difficult expression appeared on his face as he looked at Long Fei stealthily, with a hesitant look. What's wrong? Long Fei asked. Lord, according to the map that our ancestors from the Great Sun Realm passed down to us, we will arrive at the territory of the ancient Chaos Realm in half a day. As the leader of the Great Sun Realm spoke, his eyes flashed with fear. As for Long Fei, he was also stunned. Ancient Chaos Realm? Towards this place, Long Fei was completely stupefied. He had never even heard of it. Right, my lord, you don't know, when we were under the Heavenly Bridge, the ancient chaotic world was extremely savage, and then it was suppressed by the noble world. After that, my lord appeared and fought against the noble world. Only then were they saved. But the man stopped again. Immediately, Long Fei was a little speechless. He could not stand this kind of thing where one did not finish one sentence, as if pretending to be deep, leaving half of the sentence hanging in the air. Get to the point. Long Fei interrupted him. My lord, please don't blame us. I just think that we might be sought out by the ancient chaos realm. If they really are stopped at that time, I hope that master can take action. The leader of the great sun world said. Huh, so it's like that. Long Fei nodded. However, following that, he asked, didn't you say that your great yang world is awesome? What? You're scaring you to this extent just because of an ancient chaotic world? Long Fei asked. At that time, if it wasn't for him bragging and saying that his world was a place where 10,000 worlds intersected and that he had already established his own power, Long Fei would not have come to him. Cough, cough. Immediately, the person leading the great sun world turned red with embarrassment. It was as if Long Fei had seen through his disguise, and he was ashamed. All right, let's keep going. If the ancient chaos realms really are obstructing us, we can just kill them all then. Long Fei said disapprovingly. As for the matters of the great sun realm, Long Fei was too lazy to ask about them. In an instant, the leader of the great sun world felt as if he had been granted amnesty. His face was filled with joy. All right, with an adult's words, it will be enough. I, Jiang Chunxiu, knew that an incredible figure like my lord would never place a clown like the chaotic world in his eyes. Jiang Chunxiu said. Long Fei's face froze for a moment before his eyes narrowed into a line. What did you say? Jiang Chunxiu stared blankly at Long Fei before muttering in his heart. It's over, it's over. They all say that you can wear thousands of clothes, but you can't wear a horse's fart. Could it be that this person has already seen through everything and does not care about these false names? In that moment, Jiang Chunxiu was filled with regret. He was afraid that his words would make Long Fei angry. But after that, with Long Fei's words, Jiang Chunxiu was overjoyed. You're right. I, your father, want this place where 10,000 worlds intersect. The most awesome person. Neither the primordial world nor the noble world can do it. No one is allowed in the 10,000 worlds. Ha ha! Long Fei laughed out loud. Jiang Chunxiu. Moments later, the group once again set out on their journey. They boarded a brand new aircraft and continued onward. What they didn't know was that at this time, several 100,000 miles away, in a city, an extremely ugly group of people were gathered together. Their bodies were emitting waves of malice. Ha! We have finally arrived. However, how did you all receive such heavy injuries? A half-masked man with an extremely powerful aura said. One of his eyes was swollen, and it was filled with an extremely terrifying aura of fury. Elder, it's someone from the noble world. Below, a group of half-faced people said in a weak voice. They were the people suppressed under the bridge. People of the noble world? He really is arrogant. However, the supreme realm is too strong. We can't challenge them for the time being. Wait a minute. Once the other supreme experts appear, we will ally directly with them. At that time, we will definitely make the world pay with its blood. The elders of the noble world said. The moment he said this, the people in the crowd started talking. Elder, this kind of person might have already appeared. He directly swept through everyone under the heavenly bridge, not leaving a single person alive. Is what you said true? In an instant, even that elder couldn't remain calm. His face was filled with hope. Zhuo Fan was naturally the leader of the chaotic ancient world that had been suppressed by the noble world. Zhuo Fan doesn't dare to lie to an elder. That person is too berserk. Killing the people from your world is like slaughtering a dog. Truly a great pleasure. Zhuo Fan said. Ha ha, if that's really the case, then this time, in the battle for the God of Boundary, the 10,000 worlds might be reshuffled. Our chance has come. If we can befriend him, we can definitely take another step forward. Right, what world is he from? The elder of the ancient chaos realm asked. Zhuo Fan slightly pondered and said, it seems to be from the sun god world. And this scene also happened in countless worlds. In the blink of an eye, the world of the sun god was at the center of discussion. One after another, taunts fell, landing directly on the faces of everyone from the Great Sun Realm. One after another, taunts fell, landing directly on the faces of everyone from the Great Sun Realm. Jiang Chuanqiu's expression turned incomparably ugly. Following that, she looked at Long Fei silently, but seeing that Long Fei had no reaction at all, she became gloomy for a moment. Crack, crack, crack. His fists were clenched so tightly that crackling sounds could be heard. But there was no other way. He could only silently endure the ridicule from others. Right now, his only backing was Long Fei. If Long Fei didn't speak, he wouldn't dare to make sound, let alone the ridicule from others. Even if someone else were to slap his face, he would still have to endure it. However, at this moment, Long Fei's gaze was right in front of him. He had long since known that the people of the Great Sun Realm were bragging. But for others to slap his face so brazenly, Long Fei felt really bad in his heart. Although Long Fei was not very close to the Great Yang World, he knew very well. He didn't feel much of a sense of belonging. However, he still had a use for it. Moreover, the weak feeling of the Great Sun Realm allowed Long Fei to see the times when he was suppressed by the God's tribe. Very unhappy. For a moment, killing intent arose in his heart. Hey, what's wrong? You brat, you're still not convinced? I'm already calling you the trash of the Great Yang World. What do you think? Bite me if you can't accept it. Do you dare? The world is trash, and humans are trash as well. I really don't know how the Great Yang World has the courage to come to the Great Yang World. If it wasn't for the fact that your Great Yang World had a talented woman, would you have had the chance to leave your influence at the place where 10,000 worlds intersected? The people at the back sneered. However, Jiang Chuanqiu's gaze had suddenly become fervent all of a sudden. Ha ha, you are courting death. It's one thing to put on a show in front of this old man, but you still dare to put on a show in front of this fierce man? You guys even killed people from the noble world so casually. What's the point of all of you? Jiang Chuanqiu was overjoyed in his heart. His eyes were burning with passion. Suddenly, as if he had grasped an opportunity, he said abruptly, "Impudent, who do you think you are to dare to act so arrogantly? Do you really think that my Great Yang World doesn't have a temper? My lord, don't worry. As long as I, Jiang Chuanqiu, am alive, I will absolutely not allow their dog blood to splatter onto my lord." Jiang Chuanqiu said with a resolute expression. He was righteous. With a wave of his hand, the people of the Great Yang World stood in front and protected Long Fei behind them. Long Fei was startled, and then immediately laughed lightly in his heart. Damn, what a talent. You have to pretend. It's simply no one else. Long Fei's opinion of Jiang Chuanqiu immediately changed. This guy was truly exquisite. He knew that he definitely could not tolerate this. Now, he had taken the initiative to show his loyalty and gain his goodwill. However, Jiang Chuanqiu's arrival had further infuriated the other. What big nerves! Are all the people of the Great Yang World so powerful? We haven't seen each other for thousands of years, and he actually dares to resist? My Starfall realm has never been so humiliated before. It seems that if I don't exterminate you today, you all will have no idea how vast the 10,000 worlds is. Do you really think that a woman can cause the Great Yang World to not perish? This world was the meteorite realm. Immediately, the people from the meteorite realm were ready for battle. Shwa shwa shwa. Countless figures appeared. The meteor world was strong to begin with. Otherwise, it wouldn't have brazenly insulted the Great Yang World. In the blink of an eye, thousands of people appeared, each of them exuding a murderous aura. Long Fei did not move. To him, the meteor world in front of him posed no threat at all. On the contrary, it was the ancient chaos world that piqued Long Fei's interest. Because the moment he saw this person, something that had been hiding in the system space for a long time started to tremble. Without any rules, he began to get angry. It was difficult for even Long Fei to suppress them. The kiss of victory. This thing, Long Fei had not used it ever since he got out from the systems carnival. Never even touched it. Moreover, it had always been a kind of silence, without a single trace of existence. But today there was a sudden riot. Could it be that this half of the world is related to the zombie heads on Earth? If that's the case, then I'm afraid that the mysterious veil on Earth is even deeper than I thought. If I continue to pluck layer after layer like this, I wonder what kind of surprise will come to me. Long Fei's heart trembled. In his mind, he once again thought of the quest he had to enter the system, clearing the level among the secret world and going to the moon once. He thought back to you all those years ago. TSK. Back then, she was already 18, but now she's probably even more like a fairy. Long Fei thought. It was a little hard to bear. Damn, after the competition for the God of Boundary is over, I must think of a way to go to Earth. Long Fei thought. But right at this moment, a rumbling sound directly woke Long Fei up. A great battle had already broken out in front of them. The people from the meteor world immediately took action. However, the Great Sun world was not a match for them. Apart from Jiang Chunqiu, no one else could withstand a single blow from their opponent, and they all collapsed onto the ground. My lord, me, Jiang Chunqiu also vomited blood and looked at Long Fei with a troubled expression. All right, leave the rest to me, Long Fei said. No matter what, the other side was still on his side. Moreover, compared to the meteorite world in front of him, Long Fei was more willing to accept the great Yang world in his heart. There was no helping it. The meteorite world was too arrogant. Long Fei was very unhappy in his heart. Master? Haha, old thing, I think you've gone senile. A brat who's still wet behind the ears can make you call him an adult? The son of the God of Boundary of your great sun realm? TSK. That doesn't seem to be the case. This kid's cultivation is on a completely different level from yours. Right? Could he be a bastard born from that woman in that world? Huh. No wonder your great sun world still exists. It turns out you rely on women. The people of the meteorite world laughed without restraint. But when Long Fei heard this laughter, it was exceptionally ear-piercing. Pow! Without the slightest hesitation, he immediately slapped the other party. Boom! The meteorite realm's powerhouse was stunned. His face was stupefied, and he stood rooted to the spot, unable to figure out who had done it. Who? He asked. Elder, why is your face red? It's like I've been slapped. That's impossible. Elder's cultivation is sky high. Who could possibly make a move against him? Right? It must have been just a blink of an eye. This kind of thing is impossible. The few people behind the elder said. But at that moment, another crisp sound rang out. Pow! Pa pa pa! Bang! 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 No need to guess, is my doing. Long Fei lightly breathed in and said indifferently. Instantly, their expressions became incomparably furious. You dog, you still dare to make a move? If I don't kill you today, I'll eat shit on the spot. In an instant, one of them jumped out. He jumped 10 meters high, and the light in his hands was as vast as the stars. Starburst. The starry brilliance soared to the sky, outlining tens of thousands of profound lights. The starry brilliance soared to the sky, outlining tens of thousands of profound lights. In the blink of an eye, the entire power of the ancient chaos realm had been enveloped by the starlight. As for the Arceus region, they didn't dare to touch it yet. This was the difference. But it was also a rule, and it was the same in any world. In a place where all worlds intersected, this was even more so the case. Lord, be careful. This is a special manual from the meteor world. Each person can refine a moment's worth of stars, and once the palm is thrown out, there will be the might of exploding stars. At this moment, Jiang Chunqiu suggested. He knew that Long Fei was very strong. However, the meteor world was also an established world, and it could not be ignored either. You're afraid now? Unfortunately, it's too late. Trash-like worlds like yours simply aren't worthy of existing. Die! At that moment, the disciple from the meteor world became even more ferocious and took a step forward. The power in his hands surged, and streams of starlight shot out like swords. His killing intent frantically spread out, closing in on Long Fei. But Long Fei acted as if he did not hear it, and did not even raise his head. In the blink of an eye, the explosive power of countless stars engulfed Long Fei. Haha, I thought you were so awesome. So it's such a trash. I can't even withstand a star explosion. I was just preparing to use Star Splitter. What a waste of emotion. That person laughed maniacally with a look of disdain on his face. At the same time, the people from the meteor world beside him also began to laugh out loud. It was as if he did not care about Long Fei, who was submerged in the star explosion's power. You dare to call out in front of us with this kind of power? An idiot, a bunch of trash. What a disappointment. Countless voices sounded out, especially from the elders of the meteor world. They all smiled proudly and prepared to walk towards Jiang Chunqiu. However, he hadn't even taken half a step forward. A feeling of extreme danger engulfed the entire area. This time, not only the battle was taking place, but it was going to happen in a radius of tens of thousands of miles. Even the ancient chaos world had not been spared. And the moment this aura appeared, Jiang Chunqiu's face instantly flushed red. Originally, he was somewhat surprised. Why did Long Fei have no reaction at all? He thought he had made the wrong choice. However, he knew at the moment this aura appeared. Long Fei was still Long Fei, the transcendent existence who fought under the bridge to the death in all four directions. Ha ha! It's over, you guys are all finished. Even the people of the noble world do not dare to be arrogant in front of you. Yet you still dare to make a move? Ha ha! This time, just wait for death. A bunch of SBs. Now look who's the real idiot. Jiang Chunqiu laughed complacently. While he was laughing, Long Fei's figure slowly appeared. It directly crushed the power of the star explosion and scattered it with a single punch, reappearing in the world once again. Is this the power of a star's explosion? Not much. Qing Yin was scornful and dismissive. In a split second, the faces of the people from a meteor world changed drastically. Arrogant? It doesn't exist anymore. Everyone became flustered. It was not only because Long Fei was safe and sound this time. More importantly, it was because of Jiang Chunqiu's words. Even the noble realms do not dare to act arrogantly. They were from the later world and had never seen Long Fei kill crazily before. But they were not stupid. On the way there, they had already heard too many legends about Long Fei. You're a person of the sun god world? The elders of the meteorite world spoke with a trembling voice, their faces turning bitter. Never in his wildest dreams did he expect that he would be met with such an unlucky idea, a simple act of posturing, and actually meet a truly awesome boss. However, Long Fei remained silent and completely ignored him. What a load of crap. The misunderstanding is getting bigger and bigger. If this goes on, wouldn't the Yang God realm become the enemy of everyone in the world? Long Fei felt helpless. Originally, Long Fei was too lazy to explain because of a misunderstanding over the Supreme Realm. However, he never expected that the misunderstanding would become deeper and deeper. It was likely that the Yang God realm had already taken the blame for him. As he thought about it, Long Fei prepared to reveal his identity as the ancient world. But before he could open his mouth, Jiang Chunqiu's laughter once again rang out. Haha, you're right. You're afraid, right? This big boss is the super powerhouse of the Yang God realm. You trash of a nebula world, wash your clothes and wait. Jiang Chunqiu laughed heartily and was incomparably arrogant. As if venting his anger, he looked at the surrounding people's gazes of reverence with great pleasure. Long Fei stared blankly for a moment, then suddenly had the urge to curse. What a lousy teammate, Long Fei secretly thought in his heart. Looking at the extremely excited Jiang Chunqiu, he forcefully swallowed down the words he was about to say. After all, he was shaking his head repeatedly when he saw Jiang Chunqiu's performance. What was called taking advantage of one's position. What did it mean to rely on the power of a dog? Jiang Chunqiu's performance was extremely thorough. He only needed to write a label with the words, Long Fei's lackey. However, Long Fei did not point it out. In any case, the people from the meteor world were already blacklisted by him. This was the fate they had been waiting for ever since they had started calling him trash. A moment later, Long Fei's gaze moved as he looked at the people from the meteor realm. What is it? Now you're here to ask me where I come from? Who was the one who called lousy trash just now? Come, stand up. This old man wants to experience just how amazing you are. Didn't you say you were going to kill me? Come, don't be idle. I let you guys down just now, and now I'm here. If you have any tricks up your sleeves, use them. Long Fei sarcastically said as he walked forward step by step. Stomp, stomp. However, when Long Fei stepped forward, the people from the meteorite world retreated explosively, not daring to face Long Fei at all. It was as if Long Fei was now the god of death who had come to reap their lives. Whoever got close to him had to die. Come, 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 don't retreat. Didn't that person just say that he was going to use the star splitter? Hurry, let the stars split open. Let your father experience what it means to be berserk. Long Fei said again. They fought with each other. He didn't dare to retreat at all. I was wrong. Lord, have mercy. I'm the one acting tough. I don't dare to do that anymore. Let me go. As long as you let me go, I'll do anything. In an instant, the person who had attacked Long Fei before in the meteor realm knelt down and begged for mercy. It was simply unable to bear the limitless pressure emitted by Long Fei. His mind was completely destroyed, and all his determination and perseverance vanished in the blink of an eye. However, Long Fei's footsteps did not stop at all, as he directly arrived in front of the other party. Aren't you going to attack? Since you're not going to do anything, then it's your father's turn. Long Fei's voice was like a ghost, filled with a hoarse voice that was filled with the intent to kill that was about to erupt. Then a punch was thrown out. Boom! Asterisk boom! Instantly, the person from the meteor world was punched in the air by Long Fei, and his chest was pierced through. The result of this was the collapse of the physical body and the annihilation of the soul. There was no surprise at all. Hiss! Suddenly, the entire space was filled with cold air. At this moment, the elders of the meteor world also had extremely ugly expressions on their faces. His eyes looked at Long Fei and said indifferently, Sir, I am Xingzi, and I am... Xingzi said, but before he could finish, he was interrupted by Long Fei. Who you are is not important, and I am not interested in knowing. After all, who would use their thoughts to remember the name of a dead person? You're right. His voice was ice-cold and filled with killing intent. His voice was ice-cold and filled with killing intent. A formless killing intent exploded out from Long Fei's body, piercing through the void, penetrating through all realms. In an instant, Xingzi's facial expression changed drastically. The surging killing intent made his heart tremble, and he felt as if his face was torn apart by a hurricane. No, 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 my lord, spare me. In the blink of an eye, there was no hesitation at all. The star mist immediately fell to his knees, begging for mercy. There was nothing he could do. Long Fei's chi and blood shook. The killing intent was like a blade, directly frightening his soul. There was nowhere to run, nowhere to run. In fact, Xingzi could feel that his aura alone was not something he could withstand. Once Long Fei took action, he would be met with a certain death. In other words, other than begging for mercy, there was no other way to survive. But unfortunately, so what if he was begging? You're begging for mercy after acting cool? It was like putting on your pants and refusing to acknowledge your debt. Despicable and shameless. Vulgar and shameless. Lousy looks down on your actions. Long Fei was speechless. He was speechless towards this kind of people who pretended that they were nothing and would stay for the rest of the meal. If you don't have the ability, don't come out and cause trouble. Now that things had gone awry, he wanted to leave it at that. He didn't dare to say a single word of apology and wanted to escape. Impossible. Following that, the chi on Long Fei's body became heavy again. Boom, boom, boom. In an instant, the body of the stellar martial cultivator started to emit the light of the stars. However, the moment the starlight appeared, it directly shattered, dispersing non-stop. It was simply unable to withstand Long Fei's might. Shwa shwa shwa. Crack, crack, crack. In just a few breaths of time, the astral energy in the Star Lord's body dispersed, dissipating in the air. The moment the starlight disappeared, The stellar child's body immediately crawled onto the ground. He was simply unable to withstand long phase pressure and started to constantly crack. No, no. You have already offended the noble world, and now you want to offend my Starfall realm? Don't tell me you want to become enemies with the all-world? Let me go, let me go. The Stellar Union's unceasing begging was so loud that it seemed to be losing all its strength, and its roar resonated throughout the void. Long Fei did not move and directly punched horizontally. Boom! Asterisk rumble. An incredibly powerful fist power was unleashed, and it shattered the star in one punch. Threatening me? The thing that Lousy is least afraid of is threats. The meteorite world is nothing. If you dare to provoke me, I'll destroy your world. Long Fei said with a cold face. The threat of the Stellar Union had been completely ignored. The meteor world might be very powerful, but how could it be more powerful than the Supreme Realm? Even Long Fei, the noble realm, dared to go head-to-head with him. So how could he possibly be afraid of a mere meteor realm? At this moment, the entire world seemed to sink. It was extremely depressing. Other than the faint sounds of breathing, there was no other sound at all. Kill if you want to this. We cannot provoke him. This is a god of death. Whoever touches him will die. I really have no idea what kind of dogshit luck the Great Sun world has to fawn over such a strong person. In the blink of an eye, countless people from countless worlds began to whisper to each other with incomparable envy. As for Jiang Chunxiu, he too had a look of astonishment on his face. Too awesome. Lore from now on. You are my idol. Ha ha, this group of jumping clowns, make them act cool. Puffed. Jiang Chunxiu laughed maniacally. At this very moment, he had long since been subdued by Long Fei's domineering aura and had a face full of worship. But Long Fei did not make the slightest of movements. To Long Fei, killing people from this kind of world felt not even the slightest bit of accomplishment. In fact, even Long Fei did not care about Jiang Chunxiu's and other people's reactions at all. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for slaying the leader of the meteorite world, Xingzi. The reward is 100 million points, 1 million points of holy source, and 1 point of striking value. Ding! Congratulations player Long Fei for obtaining the star power. Ding! The power of the stars has been absorbed. Player's body enhancement +1. The system's voice appeared. Long Fei was shocked. The power of the stars. He was just too familiar with this power. Back then, when he was in Fatri's sect, he released his heavenly beast and obtained the astral body. However, this power had disappeared after the system had changed. Now that he had obtained the power of the stars, Long Fei finally had a connection. TSK, TSK. The power of the stars can even strengthen the body. Ha ha, my physical body is already the strongest on the other side. A single Era Supreme Lord was actually able to strengthen it. This is amazing. You're my lucky stars from the meteor world. Long Fei laughed crazily in his heart. It was completely unexpected. Long Fei did not have much hope to kill the people from the meteor world, nor did he have any hope that he would be able to get anything good out of it. But now, the result made even Long Fei's heart jump. Power. The power of one star might be insignificant, but what about dozens, hundreds, thousands, tens of millions, or even hundreds of millions of stars? In an instant, Long Fei's eyes lit up. He was actually quite excited about the threat from the Stellar Union. Come on. Lousy will welcome you with open arms. A hint of insanity surfaced in Long Fei's heart. On the surface, however, he didn't show it. Long Fei then turned around and looked at Jiang Chunxiu. Let's go. He looked indifferent. Of course, Long Fei didn't do it to act cool this time. It was more accurate to say that although there were many people left in the meteor world, the one who had killed them before, apart from experience, didn't even have a fart. In other words, the only way to unleash the power of the stars was to depend on one's cultivation. Therefore, Long Fei was no longer interested in the remaining people and was too lazy to make a move. The most important thing right now was to head to the center of the intersecting 10,000 worlds. Jiang Chunxiu paused slightly, while still remaining under Long Fei's overbearing and berserk aura. He had an untamed expression on his face. His face was filled with insolence. The words, "I am very awesome," were written all over his face. However, the moment Long Fei opened his mouth, his complexion immediately returned to normal. "My lord, are we still going to travel through the Arceus region?" Jiang Chunxiu asked. His words were extremely respectful. After Long Fei killed the Stellar Child, he had already made a decision in his heart. That was, he must become a qualified lackey to follow Long Fei closely. Of course. After all, we've wasted our time watching a great battle. If we don't give them a way out, what can we say? The corner of Long Fei's mouth raised as he chuckled. After that, he looked straight ahead. So. At this moment, a few figures descended from the sky. These few people were the powerhouse of the ancient Chaos Realm. It was a completely different face. However, the aura it gave off was extremely terrifying. Even if the cultivation system in each world were different, the location of one's cultivation would be different. However, on the whole, once one's cultivation had reached a certain level, they would all return to the same place. It was just that their names were different, so their abilities could be easily seen with a single glance. Of course, this level of terror was a relative one. In front of Long Fei, their aura was not even worth mentioning. Compared to the black robes of the realm of the exalted gods, he was much weaker. "Your Excellency, for you to come to this chaotic ancient world, you must be bringing honor to your humble dwelling. I, the chaotic world, am willing to accept your challenge and form an alliance with you, my lord. We will advance and retreat together at this place where 10,000 worlds intersect. Sir, if you're not in a hurry, please enter the city for a chat." The people of the primordial world all stood in front of Long Fei with humble expressions. The people of the primordial world all stood in front of Long Fei with humble expressions. His posture was very low, and his eyes were filled with a pleading look. This scene caused everyone in the surroundings to raise their eyebrows. His heart was filled with envy. Their world did not lack tyrannical existences, but in front of the chaotic ancient world, they still had to maintain a degree of reverence. But now, Long Fei had directly become the target of their befriending in the ancient chaos realm, causing them to be extremely envious. Fortunately, Long Fei's expression did not change. He could already guess the result. Although he had attacked the people from the meteor world, everything around him could not be hidden from him. Thus, he directly used his strongest fleshly body's strength to intimidate them. As for the cultivators in the Chaos Ancient Realm, their cultivation bases were at most comparable to the astral souls they possessed. So how could they dare to be arrogant in front of Long Fei? Especially for Long Fei, who was not afraid of the power of the world at all. What truly frightened them the most was this. However, the one whose expression changed the most was Jiang Chunxiu. Long Fei had risked his life to get on the ship, but now he actually wanted to watch as the ancient chaos realm rigged him out. No, absolutely not. This kind of fierce person must belong to my great sun world. Only by doing so can we have a chance of survival, and not become the victims of the division of 10,000 worlds. We absolutely can't let the people of the ancient chaotic world pry us away. Jiang Chunxiu's expression was urgent as he quietly glanced at Long Fei. He saw Long Fei looking at him with a playful expression. It was as though they were waiting for him to speak. F***, I'll go all out. Jiang Chunxiu's eyes hardened. Raising his head to look at the people of the ancient chaos realm, he said, "My lord is just passing by." "What ancient chaotic world? There's no need to look. Hurry up and get out of the way. Open up the route for us to pass through." Jiang Chunxiu acted on his own initiative. Arrogant group. It was as if he didn't place any importance on the ancient chaos world in his eyes at all. The people from the ancient chaotic world were stunned, scattered about in the wind. They looked at Jiang Chunxiu, who was clamoring non-stop, with stupefied expressions on their faces. Some were even forcefully suppressing the anger in their hearts as they looked coldly at Jiang Chunxiu. If Long Fei wasn't here, they would have definitely intervened. In the blink of an eye, Jiang Chuanqiu's body trembled. Under the watchful gaze of the experts of the Arceus region, Ning's body suddenly felt as though it was filled with tremendous pressure. Even his bones creaked. But at this moment, he was already at the point where he had no way out. What are you looking at? My words are the meaning of an adult. You all, are we letting them go or not? He was extremely determined. At this moment, Jiang Chunqiu was ready to make his move. It was like a gamble. If the bet was correct, he would successfully be linked with Long Fei. If he lost, his little life would be reduced to dust. Instantly, the people of the ancient chaos world were no longer happy. The hidden rage was no longer suppressed. He opened his mouth. Shut up. Do you want to die? A trash of the great Yang world? How honorable is the lord of the Yang god realm? How can a trash world like yours covet it? If it wasn't for you giving face to the Lord, you would have already lost your life the moment you opened your mouth. One more word, and I'll chop you in half. In the chaotic ancient world, a half-faced man had a hideous face. Only half of his facial features were twisted, and he instantly turned into a ball. It looked even more horrifying. At the same time, the people of the ancient chaos realm looked at Long Fei. Sir, this great Yang world is not worthy of Sir's stay at all. In this place where 10,000 worlds intersect, although our primordial era can't claim to be the hegemon, it is still a place where everyone has a reputation. Only we can become allies with Lord Sun God World. They are simply unworthy. The powerhouse of the Broken Bone world said, and forced a smile on his face. However, such honor and glory, even if one were to laugh, would make people feel extremely uncomfortable. Countless people agreed with their words. In fact, that was the case. A strong alliance was the way to go. There had never been a world of power in search of a burden. And obviously, Long Fei was extremely strong now and had already won enough respect from them. However, the Great Yang world was simply a minuscule world. The reason he was able to leave his base in this place where 10,000 worlds intersect was all because of a woman who had suddenly appeared in the world. Therefore, in their eyes, the primordial world was Long Fei's best choice. But at this time, Long Fei suddenly opened his mouth and said, I've killed people from your world and the meteor world. Aren't you afraid of getting too close to me and getting targeted by them? Long Fei said in a mocking tone. Alliance? Long Fei had never considered it. Even if it was the Great Sun Realm, Long Fei wouldn't even consider such a thing. However, Long Fei was very satisfied with Jiang Chunqiu's actions, so Long Fei didn't mind walking closer to him. Most importantly, Long Fei had a strange feeling in his heart. He always felt that the woman who walked out of the Great Yang world had something to do with him. Moreover, this feeling was extremely intense, and it was something that couldn't be stopped. That was why they tolerated Jiang Chuanqiu's wanton actions. Of course, this was also a test for Jiang Chunqiu. If Jiang Chunqiu had not dared to resist at all and was acting like a cowardly turtle, Long Fei would definitely not come into contact with him at all. But it was obvious that Jiang Chunqiu still had the courage to even suppress his fear of the anarchic world in order to establish a relationship with him. Clearly, this was a gamble with everything on the line. Therefore, Long Fei didn't mind making genuine contact with him. And at this time, the expressions of those from the ancient chaos realm also froze. That horrifying smile disappeared, and even his breathing became hurried. They already knew about Long Fei. They had even made preparations to rely on Long Fei to destroy the structure of an entire realm and overthrow the supreme status of a world in one go. But Long Fei asked. Instead, they felt a bit of fear in their hearts. It was because this time, it was a huge gamble to Jiang Chunqiu, and it was the same to them. It was also a huge gamble. If they lost the bet, they would lose the entire world's life. What is it? Is that a difficult question to answer? Long Fei said indifferently. The people of the ancient chaotic world were in a state of chaos. They avoided each other's gazes for a while before their gazes intersected. But at this moment, Jiang Chunqiu suddenly spoke. As long as you are an enemy of my lord, you are an enemy of the Great Sun Realm. These words are the will of Jiang Chunxiu. Jiang Chunxiu said. He was decisive and without any hesitation. Upon hearing these words, the faces of the people from the ancient chaos realm instantly turned incomparably ugly. As if he had been slapped in the face by Jiang Chunxiu, he said unhappily, You're just a piece of trash. What do you count as? You can represent your great young world? The powerhouse of the ancient chaos realm said. Jiang Chunxiu nodded, slightly glancing at Long Fei. But Long Fei didn't have any expression on his face. Jiang Chunxiu's hands were trembling, but his eyes were filled with madness. He looked fiercely in the direction of the ancient chaos world and said, I swear on my world destiny that as long as I, Jiang Chunxiu, am still alive, my lord will forever be a follower of the great sun world. Rumble, 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 rumble. Suddenly, a power descended from the sky from a place where 10,000 worlds intersected. That power was indescribable. However, it was incomparably vast and contained a supreme rule. In an instant, it smashed into the top of Jiang Chunxiu's head. Instantly, a huge commotion broke out in front of him. Crazy. He actually swore an oath based on the luck of this world. He's putting all of his future on this person. AI, how unwise. Even if the great young world is weak, at the very least, there is still a glimmer of hope. This person is strong, but he offended the noble world. For a time, countless voices sounded out. They were all extremely shocked. Things like world fortune were illusory and intangible, but they were supreme and became the most sacred existence in everyone's heart. Very few people would swear by the luck of the world. Otherwise, unless he died, the entire great young world would be linked to Long Fei. Once Long Fei lost or died, their great young world would also be finished. Therefore, at this moment, even these bystanders mocked Jiang Chunxiu. Long Fei was also stunned. Reaching this step, there were some things that didn't even need to be explained in Long Fei's heart to know what was going on. World karma. This was definitely the karmic luck of an entire world. Even he hadn't thought that Jiang Chunxiu would be so crazy as to place the future of his world on his shoulders. At this time, Jiang Chunxiu raised his head and smiled. Ha ha, compare with lousy. Just because I'm not crazy doesn't mean I don't dare. Come on, why are you still beeping? Which one of you dares to gamble with the destiny of this world? Jiang Chunxiu laughed heartily. At this moment, the people of the ancient chaos world also fell silent. Madman, why bother with a lunatic? However, in the end, you're still trash. It's not just you. The entire great young world is a piece of trash. The people of the ancient chaotic world became angry from the embarrassment and shouted angrily. For a moment, the entire world was filled with killing intent. But just at that moment, Long Fei moved. In a single step, Long Fei's figure instantly appeared in the air. Rumble. Next, he stomped down, and as Long Fei's foot landed, all the walls of the primordial world instantly crumbled. What ancient inheritance? What old world? At this moment, it was just a joke. All of his prestige and dignity had been instantly shattered with Long Fei's stomp. Sir, the faces of the people of the ancient chaos realm changed. His mind also cleared up and looked at Long Fei as he retreated continuously. What is it? Aren't you being awesome? Yell. Lousy was the one who protected the great sun world. You said that the trash of the great sun realm was looking down on Lousy in front of me, right? Long Fei said coldly. Honestly speaking, his heart was slightly moved. Not to mention anything else, at the very least, Long Fei was already moved by the fact that Jiang Chunxiu was able to give him such high trust. At this moment, he no longer viewed Jiang Chunxiu as a passerby. Although they were not brothers yet, at the very least, Long Fei would not ignore them. However, what Long Fei did not expect was that at this time, the system's voice suddenly came out again. Ding! Congratulations, player, for triggering system quest to protect the Great Sun World. Quest level, SSS, time of mission, 1 year, task reward, seal of the God of Boundary. Quest penalty, die. Long Fei looked at the system in disbelief. Then, a feeling of rage arose in his heart. Originally, he was a bit moved and felt that Jiang Chuanqiu's prideful appearance was quite adorable. After all, he had sworn an oath himself, and it had no effect on Long Fei at all. Unexpectedly, the system came up with a new label connecting him and the Great Sun world. This meant that he had to risk his life to protect the Great Yang world. If anything happened to the Great Yang world, even he himself would die. Mother asterisk her. Long Fei screamed in his heart, incomparably depressed. He then cast a fierce glance at Jiang Chuanqiu. Jiang Chuanqiu had an incomparably agitated expression in the beginning, his old tears flowing as he was deeply immersed in Long Fei's words just now, unable to extricate himself from it. He felt that he had really made the right bet this time. But when Long Fei looked at him, he instantly fell into the abyss forever. It was as if he had fallen into an icy cavern, and his entire body was bone-chilling cold, as if he was enveloped in death's embrace. In an instant, Jiang Chuanqiu immediately lowered his head, not daring to look at Long Fei. As for Long Fei, although he was helpless, he could only accept it. It's about protecting another realm. It used to be the Sun God world, but now it's the Great Sun world. Will there be a day when something else happens? Long Fei's heart was moved. He thought about the previous Guardian quest. He linked the three in his mind. Fuck, it's done. At most, I will just become an enemy of the myriad realms. The god of Boundary Blade is already so powerful. How can the god of Boundary Seal be weak? As Long Fei thought about this, he looked towards the people from the ancient Chaos realm and took another step forward. Now, I'll give you a choice. One is to disappear right in front of me. Second, I'll send you out of my sight. Long Fei said in a domineering manner, and simply could not refuse. How dare you? You've gone too far. This is one of the powers of the ancient chaotic world. No matter how powerful you are, you can't be unreasonable. Instantly, angry roars erupted one after another. Those from the ancient chaotic world were all furious. Their eyes were spewing fire, and their faces were filled with a murderous intent. Looks like you've chosen the second choice. The corner of Long Fei's mouth turned cold as he replied softly. In an instant, the people of the ancient chaos world were frightened. The anger in their single eyes disappeared. Their faces were full of hatred, but they could do nothing about it. All they could do was lower their heads and leave. For a moment, Long Fei stood proudly in the air, like a high and mighty emperor, as invincible as himself. In the same world, in another remote region of the ancient world, the people from the Yang God realm also stopped in their tracks. In front of them was another world. It confined the surrounding space, making it impossible for any aircrafts to pass through it. Not even Hong Yi's other shore could do that. There's someone blocking our way. With my temper, I'll go and beat them up. Chun Tianfei took a step forward, and his robust body shook as he was about to make his move. Wait a minute, the people in this world are very strong. Moreover, this place has been standing here for 1,000,000 years. That is to say, this power is very strong. Don't act rashly. Hong Yi said, his eyes twinkling. He seemed to be surprised and didn't know what to do. Lu Luoxi and the rest were also moved as they looked forward. It was also at this moment that the door to the world before them suddenly opened. A voice then rang out. Ha ha! Finally, there's a world. Come, come, come. If you want to enter the place where 10,000 worlds intersect, first stay behind and buy money. My Star Demon world is being merciful. We might be able to spare your lives. The person laughed crazily. He was unscrupulous and would rob anyone who got in his way. Sir, we have just arrived at the place where the 10,000 worlds meet. May I know what you mean by money is? Hong Yi asked. New world? Ha ha. Then things can be settled. Just leave behind your world destiny and become the slave world of my Star Demon realm. Of course, your woman has to stay as well. Ha! I can finally have a taste of what women from other world are like now. The faces of Hong Yi and the rest became extremely gloomy. The faces of Hong Yi and the rest became extremely gloomy, especially Li Yuanba and the rest. Their faces were filled with killing intent. The figure of the sky spirit was like a ghost, disappearing without a trace in the blink of an eye. It immediately concealed itself in the air, preparing for battle. At this moment, he couldn't tolerate it at all. It was one thing to insult them. However, Lu Luoxi and the rest were their elder sister-in-law. Whoever dared to covet Long Fei was humiliating him. So, even if they had to risk their lives, they would absolutely fight head-on and would not retreat. F***CK. What the hell is this thing? It actually dares to be like this elder sister-in-law Wei Shi. Mess with him. Zhang Yu bellowed. The decaying power on his body burst forth to the extreme, and even the surrounding stiffness started to gradually corrode. No matter who it is, to insult my eldest sister-in-law is to kill me. You must die. Li Wuxin's voice also sank, and the power of extermination exploded out. 7 Vajra and several of the emperor's inheritances were all infuriated. As for Lu Luoxi, Yu Rou, Aoya, and Hong Qiuyi, their faces were instantly covered in a layer of frost. TSK, you still want to make a move? You bunch of trash want to take the initiative to attack. How reckless, the people from the Star Demon world said. Subsequently, numerous people from the Star Demon realm flew out from the city. Heavenly King Demon, there are some words that need not be said so directly. Do trash have no dignity? Even if he is trash, he still has to make use of trash. It just so happens that the man has been killed. With this as an example, the woman will keep it. Another few voices appeared. Unbridled, without any scruples, he arrogantly competed with Zhang Xian. He didn't even put Hong Yi and the others in his eyes. At this moment, Hong Yi's aura was also constantly changing. He had already retracted his ship and brought out the emancipation wheel. As for the people from the Star Demon realm, their faces were full of confidence and ridicule. Instead, it seemed to be impatiently waiting for Hong Yi and the others to make a move. Damn it, I can't tolerate it. He's too arrogant. You're from the Star Demon world, right? I'll let you all know what the result of coveting my sister-in-law is today. I will destroy you one by one. Li Yuanba immediately took a step forward. Battle intent exploded out from his body. With 2 steps, his height changed from 2 meters to several meters. Incomparable savagery. However, at this moment, the people from the Star Demon world laughed loudly. Transformation? There is such a trash method. I'm going to die from laughter. The trash world is the trash world, and even their methods are so low. Only the trash world would use such a basic method. Trash. One voice after another exploded out, their laughter filled with ridicule and disdain. However, Li Yuanba acted as if he did not hear it, and went forward, his surging battle intent exploding forth with his fist at this moment. Break the barrier, Li Yuanba shouted. This was the power of an astral battle, and it was incomparably sharp. When combined with Li Yuanba, who was already close to being a type of god, the punch became even sharper. Let me do it, Star Demon, Descend, Sky King Demon. It was also at this moment that the people from the Star Demon world made their move. In that instant, in the middle of the vast void, an incomparably gigantic constellation descended from the skies. However, as it descended, it actually transformed into a 30,000-meter-long, gigantic demon. Roar! He roared. The entire world was shaking. Ha, do you see that? Do you know what high-level creature is? Do you know what advanced attack is? You bunch of scumbags, just stop at the beginning. With just you two, you still want to resist. Monster King, devour them. Heavenly King demons were astral demons, but they were also his name. The Heavenly King Demon howled in madness, his eyes filled with endless malevolence. And in front of his eyes, Li Yuanba had already charged forward. A pair of fists collided directly against the 10,000-meter Star Demon. But Li Yuanba's body was just too minuscule. As he traveled through the air, his figure couldn't be seen at all. After all, in front of a 30,000-meter Star Demon, he was nothing at all. It was like comparing an ant to an adult. There was no way to compare the two. As of this moment, all eyes in the world of the Sun God were glued to the sky. Most of the people had worried looks on their faces. Will the 8 yuan be all right? The methods of this world are so violent. The transformation of a star into a demon is truly unimaginable. This battle won't be easy. Everyone, be careful. A few of the emperors began to converse with each other. He stared fixedly at the void. Don't worry, Yuan Ba will definitely not disappoint us. But Lu Luoshi suddenly said. He firmly believed in Li Yuanba. She wasn't the only one who was calm. The other King Kong members were indifferent as well. Hee, Brother Yuanba is the King Kong. You're looking down on us too much. See, this bunch of SB's honey is confident. Just wait till Brother Yuanba breaks this big guy's fist. We'll see how they can continue being so powerful. Several people said. His eyes were calm. At the same time, a loud sound echoed out. In the middle of the air, the stellar transformation demon instantly crumbled. His head was shattered by the punch from the King Kong. On the outside, but in the middle. How can you be so proud of something like this? Li Yuanba's voice sunk as he stood motionlessly in the middle of the broken star demon. Ha ha ha, I knew it. Big Brother Yuanba was definitely awesome. Definitely, this sort of existence can at most be considered a type of puppet law. It's just a bit more advanced. There's no need to be afraid. Black Knife Uncle said indifferently. You're right. My husband once passed on the mysteries of the sword to me, straight to the essence. Demonic cultivators are the key to becoming astral demons, but their true nature is that of the stars. On the other hand, monster heads carry the power of the stars themselves. As long as they are destroyed, the problem will be settled immediately. Aoya said. They had already seen through the power of this constellation, hence they didn't pay it much attention. Is it that simple? On the side, Hong, he was a bit confused. He couldn't help but feel embarrassed. He was, after all, the first great figure to have transcended from the sun god world. But now, something he did not notice had been exposed, and he felt a burning pain on his face. However, he would definitely not admit it in front of so many people. He immediately said, Aoya is right. After all, she is Long Fei's woman. That's what I was thinking just now. I just want to see your reactions. Results. I am very disappointed. Hong, he said as he looked at the people he brought. He felt a surge of regret. As for the people of the sun god world, they lowered their heads as if they had no face to face Hong. However, Li Wuxin and the others looked at each other. I've never seen such a shameless person. It would seem that the leader of a world does indeed have a spirit that I cannot wait to see. This sort of unchanging countenance is truly admirable. God, Water King Kong Lin Yusheng and Zhang Yu exchanged words, teasing each other. But Hong, he pretended not to hear him. And at this time, Li Yuanba's figure also descended from the sky, his gaze horizontal. Who else? One invincible force pierced through the void. One invincible force pierced through the void. In the blink of an eye, there is only one sound in the surrounding 5,000 kilometers. Those two words came from Li Yuanba. Who else? At this instant, the people from the star demon world paled. All of them found it hard to believe. One punch. It exploded? How is this possible? This is a stellar transformation demon, and it contains the power of a constellation. Impossible, I don't believe it. In an instant, the people from the star demon world collapsed. Facing Li Yuanba, how could he still dare to be arrogant in the slightest? One by one, they began to gather towards the city's center. Right now, Li Yuanba and the others were going for it. From the bottom of their hearts, they became devilish existences. Bullying? The Great Tribulation? Go to hell. Right now, there was only one thing on their minds, and that was to survive. However, it was already too late. The King Kong silhouette had just landed on the ground. A golden light instantly shot into the sky. Without giving the people from the Star Demon world time to summon it, the sword pierced through the head. Next was the flash of a blade. Decaying power, the power of the heavens. The inheritance of the 8 people of the 8 King Kong. I'll go on stage after you finish singing. No one want to be left behind. Rumble, rumble. The area in front of the entire Star Demon world had become a dazzling battlefield. Endless savagery. All sorts of powers intersected and dominated the world. In ancient times, Countless pairs of eyes stared at this place. Too savage. Their powers are so unique. Every single one of them has a power exclusive to them. This is nothing. You didn't see. Among them, the old man with the strongest aura did not make a move. Just how powerful are their god of boundary? Serves them right. The star demon world has met with an unyielding opponent this time. Let them act tough. The crowd of discussions was filled with disdain. At the same time, it was also filled with fear for Yuanba and the others. In this place where 10,000 worlds intersected, power was the foundation of everything. It was obvious that the berserk of Yuanba and the rest had caused them to lose all ability to act arrogantly. At the same time, Hong Yi also took action. The great wheel of liberation enlarged infinitely and hovered above the star demon realm. Star demon realm? But that's it. Didn't you want us just now? Come on now, all of you get the hell out of here, or else I'll send you all out of your minds. Hong, he shouted. It perfectly explained one sentence. That was, being tough was very important. Li Yuanba and the rest also chose to cooperate as they watched Hong Yi perform. After all, Hong Yi was the current leader of the Yang God world and was in charge of everything. When the time came, they naturally had to cooperate. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. On the wheel of liberation, a peerless and terrifying power exploded forth, crushing everything in its path. Instantly, the earth quaked and the mountains shook. A corner of the city was directly smashed into smithereens, turning into ruins. And this was just the beginning. Shwa shwa shwa. In a breath of time, another few rays of light shot out from it. Rumble. This time, the range of strength of the entire star demon realm began to decline. It shattered into pieces. Stop! At this time, an angry shout came from within. Soon after, an old man flew out from within. The moment the old man appeared, the air boiled up once again. Star Demon Marquis? Why is he here? F***CK. This is going to be a good show. A Star Demon Marquis, a character on the third step of the Star Demon world. With such an existence here, I think this world is going to be in danger. No wonder the Star Demon realm is so arrogant. No wonder there's such a master. Hush, hush. Do you want to be implicated? With a single thought, all sounds disappeared. Hong Yi's face darkened. Star Demon Marquis? The sounds of discussion in the air couldn't be concealed from Hong Yi. It's good that you know this. I wonder what sort of trash you are to actually dare to behave so atrociously in my Star Demon realm. Our Star Demon realm is the absolute strongest realm in all of the 10,000 realms, and it is also someone you can humiliate. Bastard, robbing you is just giving you face. You reckless fool. The Star Demon Marquis's face was filled with rage, as if he was slapped in the face by Hong Yi and the others. He felt extremely embarrassed. However, Hong, you didn't say a word. Patriarch, this person is very powerful. Hong Shuya took a step forward and said to Hong Yi. Her body contained the power of the god of boundary, which was different from others. She had a much more thorough perception of the strength of others in the myriad realms. With just a single glance, he'd seen through the unparalleled power of this duke. It was not something that the people who had attacked previously could compare to. Strong? So what if it's strong? Since when have I been afraid? No matter how strong he is, can he be stronger than the other two from the noble world? Since even you have made a move, wouldn't it be too much of shame if I, the ancestor, was idle? Hong, he shook his head. His gaze gradually turned cold as he looked at the Marquis of Stars and Demons. No matter what Star Demon Marquis you are, or Star Demon King, today I will let you know that I, Hong Yi, do not allow anyone to block my way. As he spoke, Hong Yi took a step forward. At the same time, his physical body also began to transform. His body had also been transformed by particles before, and although it was far inferior to Long Phase, with just a thought, he could transform the powers of the world. As for the Marquis of Stars, his expression changed slightly as well. He looked up, then waved a finger toward the starry sky. The Star Demon is here. Rumble. With these words, the void shattered. Soon after, rays of light began to converge, resplendent beyond compare. And in front of his eyes, a gigantic void star demon beast formed once again. Unlike before, this time around, the stellar demon was not a single star. Rather, it was the fusion of countless stars. One could only imagine how terrifying it was. Even Li Yuanba and the others had a look of worry on their faces. Not good. This power is hundreds or even thousands or even tens of thousands of times stronger than before. The patriarch might not be able to take it. Li Yuanba's body had already returned to normal, his eyes looking at the star demon Marquis with a face full of worry. Even he didn't dare to charge straight into such strength. What a strange power. It seems to be the same as me, without a body, and does not belong to any kind of life system. Not only that, it's not the puppet technique. Seems like I can sense the wills of countless souls from these demons. The Sky Spirit added. Who was the Sky Spirit? Yulin Guardian Warrior. They were not humans, not immortals, and not ghosts. As a result, they had always been an extremely strong existence within the Eight King Kong. But now, facing this stellar demon, he had become incomparably cautious. Let's just watch and see. If the ancestor really isn't a match, then we'll attack together. I refuse to believe that with so many of us, we're still unable to defeat him. Lu Luoshi said. In that moment, both Kong Kim and the rest nodded their heads in agreement. Now, other than this, there was no other way. Hong Yi, on the other hand, had a solemn expression on his face. After his body was reconstituted, he controlled the evacuation wheel and turned into a 30,000-meter tall body, confronting the star demon. Humph. A trash world is a trash world. Do you think that everyone can come out of nowhere? For the Sun God realm to be able to step on the horses of the ancient chaos realm, you think you can still step on my star demon realm? Impossible. The Marquis of the Star Demon said indifferently, his gaze incomparably sinister and cold. The Marquis of the Star Demon said indifferently, his gaze incomparably sinister and cold. Next, the giant demon formed from the stars punched out. Swish, swish. The astral light directly burst out, engulfing the entire space. As for Hong Yi, his expression did not change as he directly threw out the release wheel. Boom, rumble, rumble, rumble. All of a sudden, the star path swayed as rays of light shot into the sky. The boundless path of the starry sky was instantly shattered by the collision of these two powers. Boom! Asterisk Hong Yi's figure suddenly exploded backwards. Even the evacuation wheel had dimmed down, no longer having the violent aura from before. Ha ha! With this kind of strength, you dare to fight against me? Trash! I really don't know who gave you the courage. Instantly, the star demon Marquis started laughing maniacally, his face filled with endless savagery. It was as though everything was in his hands. And behind him, the people of the star demon realm gradually emerged and no longer hid. The Marquis is the Marquis, so be it. So what if your strength is tyrannical? In front of the Duke, you must be a good grandson. That's right, that's right. Look, doesn't he look like a dog? That look in his eyes, TSK is still unresigned. The mocking voices blotted out the sky. At this moment, there was no longer any trace of fear. Hong Yi's expression instantly turned ugly. He forcefully endured the pain that came from his fleshly body and looked at the star demon Marquis. With just one exchange, they had met. He was not a match for her. So. At the same time, Hong Chuye and the others had already arrived at Hong Yi's side. Ancestor, how are you? Hong Chuye asked, extremely worried. Relatively speaking, Hong Yi's cultivation base was already the strongest amongst them. If even he wasn't a match for this person, then there was no need to even mention them. Fortunately, this person is very strong. You guys leave first, I'll carry him first, Hong Yi said. At this time, there was already no longer any time to think about it. Hong Yi didn't know if he could withstand it. But there was one thing. These were Long Fei's women and brothers, and Long Fei had once protected them for him. So even if they had to risk their lives, Hong Yi wanted to protect them from harm. That won't do. Li Yuanba, have yet to let go of my brother's habit of running away by myself. But just as he finished speaking, Li Yuanba opened her mouth and said, her eyes sinister as she looked at the star demon. If boss is here, I believe it would be the same. I can't be terrified just like that, Li Yuanba said with determination in his eyes. Yes, Brother Yuanba is right. No matter how strong this person's strength is, I do not believe that if we combine all of us, he would still be weak. Immediately, Zhang Yu and Qin Tianfei also spoke up. The two of them had been with Long Fei for a long time, and they also had a temperament that allowed them to clash head-on with force. Retreating without a fight was impossible. In addition, only through battle would there be a slim chance of survival. Otherwise, if Hong Yi were to lose, it would be even more difficult for them in this place where the 10,000 worlds intersected. TSK, you still have deep feelings for him? Don't worry, I won't kill you. Hand over your luck and become the slave world of our star demon realm. At that time, this Marquis will naturally not kill you. At this moment, the Marquis of Stars spoke. His entire face was filled with arrogance, almost like a ruler as he coldly looked at Hong Yi and the others. As for these women, although they have been ruined, I will accept them as well. I don't know who amongst them is your man. I wonder what kind of expression he would have if he let me see me toying with you all. Ha! The star demon Marquis shamelessly abused them with a perverted expression. After that, the people from the star demon world also started to chime in. Ha, that's right. When Master Ho is done enjoying himself, don't forget about us. A bunch of trash. They deserve it. It has long been our world of anger, and we wouldn't have suffered such pain. Why anger the Duke? How reckless. Taunt and teasing burst out from their mouths one after another. Crack, crack, crack. Li Yuanba's fists made cracking sounds and could no longer hold it in as he directly took a step forward. Damn it, I can't tolerate it anymore. Sky Spirit, thoughtless, you guys go with eldest sister-in-law and little unrivaled. Tian Fei, Zhang Yu, and Izu will fight the four of us. Li Yuanba said. Tian Ling and Li Wuxin's expressions became serious as they looked at Li Yuanba and nodded their heads heavily. They could die, but before he died, he definitely could not let anything happen to Lu Luoxi and the others. For no other reason than this, their sister-in-law. Let's go together. However, Lu Luoxi rejected him immediately. How could she not know what Li Yuanba meant? However, she also knew the place these people occupied in Long Fei's heart. He was the same as them, everything in Long Fei's heart, the people Long Fei wanted to protect. Don't say any more. In times of emergency, don't be so girly. You guys go first, I'll carry on my back. Hong Yi, on the other hand, did not say a word. He directly took out the other shore. A wave of energy swept past and threw the few of them into the other shore. Next, his hands pushed out. The Ouroboros clan warship instantly shot into the endless void, disappearing in the blink of an eye. Ah, you bastard, you dare to escape? However, at this moment, the Marquis of Stars realized what had happened. He thought that everything was in his hands. Just like before, the moment he attacked, the others would obediently submit to him. But this time, he never would have thought that Hong Yi would be willing to give up his life and let others escape. Chase them down. No matter where you go, you must capture them. I, Hoshino, have never failed to obtain anything that I've set my eyes on. The Star Demon Marquis said, and Hoshino was his name. Yes, sir. So. In the blink of an eye, numerous silhouettes flew into the air and started chasing after them. Ha, it's useless. You are the only powerful one in your Star Demon realm. If you count on them, you will only be sending yourself to your death. Hong Yi laughed loudly. He had already expected this. The instant the Star Demon Marquis appeared, he knew that he wasn't a match for him. All of his actions were to pave the way for what happened just now, to send others away. Now the goal had been achieved. Hong Yi was also relieved. So what? Do you think they can escape? This Marquis will issue a 10,000 worlds chasing order. Anyone below my Star Demon realm will be intercepted. Moreover, this Marquis will not kill you. This marquee will have you be imprisoned inside my star demon prison. After we capture them and bring them back, we will kill all of you together. Let the myriad realms know what happens to those who go against my star demon realm. Subdue. With that, the Marquis of Star Demon made his move. The 30,000-meter star demon instantly dove down, submerging Hong Yi within. At the same time, Long Fei, who was preparing to enter a new route behind the ancient chaos realm. He suddenly stood up. His heart throbbed with excruciating pain. In the blink of an eye, Long Fei's eyes turned scarlet as streams of blood flowed within them. "My lord!" Jiang Chunqiu was shocked. His entire body trembled in fear as he was intimidated by Long Fei's aura. However, Long Fei had a face full of killing intent and was incomparably cold. He turned around, looked at Jiang Chunqiu, and said, "Let's go to the nearby 10,000 Beast World. I want to know what happened in the 10,000 Worlds recently." The 10,000 Beast World was an extremely powerful world. The 10,000 Beast World was an extremely powerful world. It was just like the layout of this place where 10,000 worlds intersected. The closer one was to the edges the weaker one was. However, those who truly had the qualifications to leave behind their world faction's legacy in the area of intersection were already extremely formidable existences. They were as rare as phoenix feathers or unicorn horns. However, the deeper one went, the stronger they became. Of course, there were also some worlds that, in order to make things easier for others, would directly place their power at the edge of the world. One was for the sake of convenience, and the other was to secretly develop and monopolize an entire region. This was the case for the Star Demon world and the Ancient Chaos world. And the 10,000 Beast world in front of him was the true powerhouse world. If the 10,000 worlds left their names, then no other world would dare to act arrogantly in front of the 10,000 Beast worlds. At the same time, the 10,000 Beast world was also a massive region that ruled over. The forces of the surrounding small worlds were all controlled by the 10,000 Beast world. Just like the ancient world from before, the 10,000 Beast world was a large sect. The small worlds that remained were the subordinate empires and a few small sections. The levels were clear, and the levels were clear. In addition, this kind of control was a complete control. Unless these small worlds possessed the power to contend against all beasts, they would have to submit. Right now, Jiang Chunqiu was piloting a flying machine as he brought Long Fei to the edge of the 10,000 Beast world. "Lord, we have already reached the 10,000 Beast world. However, based on the Great Yang world's ranking, we don't have the qualifications to enter," Jiang Chunqiu said bitterly. He felt extremely helpless. "Don't worry about it. Even if the 10,000 Beast world is the devil's hole of hell, I will still take a step forward," Long Fei said. In this matter, there was no other choice. The sense of urgency in his heart made Long Fei feel that something must have happened. With his cultivation level, he definitely wouldn't feel this way for no reason. Therefore, Long Fei determined that something must have happened. In the 10,000 Beast world, as a super strong world of the 10,000 worlds, it would definitely be able to gather news on a larger scale. Therefore, Long Fei wanted to go to the 10,000 Beast world and find out what exactly had happened. Jiang Chunqiu's mind was set, and there was no longer any hesitation. Instinctively, he had already sensed that in this place where 10,000 realms intersect, there would definitely be an earth-shattering change this time. It might even be due to Long Fei's current mood change. Jiang Chunqiu didn't dare delay at all when his thoughts traveled down this path. After all, at the same time as catching Long Fei, he had already blocked all of the Great Sun Realm's fates. After a few breaths of time, Jiang Chunqiu arrived at the 10,000 Beast world. It was incomparably vast. Thousands of mountains surrounded him, a bottomless abyss. It was as if the entire world had been created. This was a place where the two met, creating an empty void and creating a new world. He was incomparably powerful. Compared to this place, the chaotic ancient world was like a refuge. There was no room for debate at all. At this time, Long Fei had already gotten off the aircraft. Jiang Chunxiu simply didn't have the courage to face the 10,000 Beast world. And at this time, before the 10,000 Beast world, countless worlds had already gathered. At the moment, the war for the God of Boundary was about to begin, and all the other worlds would be participating. It was simply impossible to count how many worlds there were in the myriad realms. There were simply no rules, and anyone who wanted to participate could participate. And right now, as one of the most powerful worlds, the 10,000 Beast world naturally controlled the world within this region. It could be said that the fates of these realms were already in the hands of the 10,000 Beast world. Even if they wanted to participate in the God of Boundary's hegemony battle, they would have to go through the 10,000 Beast world first. Long Fei's expression was dark as he directly stepped into 10,000 Beast Mountain after raising his head. Halt! Which world are you from? Why aren't there any signs of our 10,000 Beast world on you? However, before Long Fei even entered, he was immediately stopped. I do not belong to the 10,000 Beast world, Long Fei said indifferently. Even though he felt anxious in his heart, Long Fei knew that the 10,000 Beast world was not like the previous world. Although he was not afraid, he also did not want to provoke anyone. But the attitude of Long Fei caused the faces of those from the 10,000 Beast world to darken. They were the people of the 10,000 Beast world. The 10,000 Beast world, in this place where 10,000 worlds intersected, was equivalent to a commander-in-chief. Although they ruled over 10,000 worlds, they were capable of dominating an entire region. No matter what world arrived, one would have to bow and kneel before it. Kneel down and kowtow. Kid, are you courting death? You dare to be so arrogant in front of my 10,000 Beast world. I don't think you know how to write the word death. Immediately, those from the 10,000 Beast world flew into a rage from embarrassment. The more indifferent Long Fei's expression was, the more they felt that Long Fei was just pretending and did not put them in his eyes. Immediately, the 10,000 Beast world was thrown into an uproar. Countless gazes were fixed on this place. It's him. A new dark horse came out? Isn't he part of the Great Yang World Alliance? The Great Sun Realm belongs to the Star Demon Realm. Why would they come to the 10,000 Beast world? Could it be some sort of conspiracy? When the people of some worlds saw Long Fei's arrival, they immediately began to discuss. One had to know that this was the 10,000 Beast world. Many people thought that Long Fei had gone insane. Too arrogant. All the way, all the way. The people of the Meteor Realm were stepped on, and the people of the Ancient Chaos Realm were also stepped on. Now, they had actually come to the 10,000 Beast world, and this attitude immediately made them feel extremely flustered. For a moment, everyone's heart was in turmoil. Long Fei was too strong. With him here, would they even have a chance to fight in the God of Boundary? In my opinion, it's very likely that he's the spokesperson of an extremely powerful world. He purposefully targeted the revered realm in order to break its rule. But isn't this too King arrogant? Sad. My heavenly stellar world has been preparing for several eras, several millions of years. Could it be that because of this person, everything will disappear? Countless of guesses arose in their hearts, looking at Long Fei with ill intent. Of course, Long Fei's fearsome might still remain in their minds, so they basically did not dare to make a move. It was also at this time that Jiang Chunxiu took a step forward and directly stood in front of Long Fei. From a moment he decided to follow Long Fei, he had already been left with no way out. Fortunately, Jiang Chunxiu was well aware of the choices that a follower should make at this time. That was to stick to it. No matter what decision Long Fei made, he would insist on doing it without any conditions. Even in the face of the 10,000 Beast world, he would not retreat. My master wishes to enter the mountain. Do you have any objections? Jiang Chunxiu asked directly. His tone was mature and his eyebrows were raised. He had a proud look on his face. Long Fei was also stunned. He had never thought that Jiang Chunxiu would appear at this time. Honestly speaking, he was slightly moved. However, after hearing Jiang Chunxiu's words, Long Fei felt rather speechless. Right now, he didn't have the time to waste here. All he wanted was to find out more information. However, with Jiang Chunxiu acting so arrogantly, Long Fei felt that things were not going well. Just as he expected, Jiang Chunxiu's voice sounded. Just as he expected, Jiang Chunxiu's voice sounded. The two attacks came crashing down from the sky. Boom! Rumble. He was incomparably powerful, and his speed was so fast that he was far more powerful than the people of the ancient chaos world. Long Fei's eyes moved as he looked at the two people from the 10,000 Beast world. This power was only a casual attack from them, but this power was definitely extremely strong. Long Fei had the feeling that even if it was at the peak of the 9th stage, under this power, it would still be killed in one strike. His power was actually not much weaker than that of the Lord of Primordial Chaos. At the same time, the entire front of the mountain gate started to shake violently. Countless people began to retreat, retreating over 10,000 miles away. They didn't dare to stay here for even a moment. Haha, is this person an idiot? Do you think that you can rely on the people of the Sun God world to act brazenly? He's really looking to die. Watch and see. This time, this person is definitely going to die. Countless sounds of ridicule could be heard. He immediately stopped talking, and his voice resonated throughout the world. He was no longer afraid of Long Fei. Jiang Chunxiu's face instantly lost all color. He came to his senses in an instant, and his face was deathly pale. Damn it, am I provoking the 10,000 Beast world? Have I gone King crazy? If the Lord doesn't make a move. Jiang Chunxiu's heart was in turmoil, as if he was about to die. His eyes flashed crazily from the moment he had met Long Fei. It's also worth it. I have never been this crazy in my life. It's not like Powerhouse from the Myriad Realms, but it's the same. In the past few days, I've discovered that my purpose of cultivation is not to endure, but to avenge my kindness. It's worth it, Jiang Chunxiu thought to himself, and closed his eyes as if resigned to his fate. However, he waited for a long time. Time seemed to stop at this moment, but nothing happened. In the next moment, Jiang Chunxiu opened his eyes, only to see Long Fei's figure blocking right in front of him. A pair of hands blocked the two attacks forcibly. I mean no harm. I just want to know something. I don't want to kill anyone. Long Fei said indifferently. Would never be lenient towards someone who killed others. But now, before he could figure out the reason for the panic in his heart, Long Fei didn't have the mood to pay attention to anything else. Kid, what world are you from? On the other side, the 10,000 Beast world's voice was incomparably cold. However, the moment Long Fei made his move, they knew that he was not joking. He was able to withstand their attacks with just the strength of his physical body. Killing them was as easy as pie. My world. Ancient world. Long Fei slightly muttered to himself before speaking. This time, he was going to correct the reputation of the ancient world. And what Long Fei didn't expect was, as Long Fei's voice fell, the entire space immediately quieted down, as if they had heard something incomparably shocking. Everyone's eyes started to tighten, and they stared straight at Long Fei. Ancient world, that forbidden world, how is this possible? The world that was classified as forbidden last time, how is it possible for it to come to the center of the myriad worlds again? It was incomparably horrifying. It was even more shocking than the one that Long Fei had crazily suppressed previously. It was as if the four words, ancient world, represented an indescribable terror that caused countless worlds to tremble in fear. Even Jiang Chunxiu looked at Long Fei in shock. At this time, Long Fei also looked at Jiang Chunxiu with a face full of suspicion. Lord, aren't you from the Yang God world? Jiang Chunxiu asked. At the same time, he crazily transmitted to Long Fei. Master, the ancient world is a taboo. I absolutely cannot admit it. Now, hurry up and say that you're from the Sun God world. Only then can we be safe and sound. Jiang Chunxiu sent a message urgently. It could be seen that he was also filled with worry for Long Fei. But at this moment, Long Fei fell silent. The Sun God world. Long Fei laughed softly as unhappiness surged in his heart. What happened to ancient world? Long Fei lifted his head and looked at the people from the 10,000 Beast world. Gradually, he could see madness, killing intent, rejection, and greed. All sorts of emotions stirred Long Fei's heart in an instant. Instantly, the roiling evil aura exploded forth. I am from ancient world. Moreover, I am the ancient world's god of boundary. Who is unconvinced? Who dares to disobey? Long Fei took a step forward, leaped up, and directly stood at the entrance of the 10,000 Beast world. He was incomparably berserk. His eyes were as black as ink, and within his calmness, an incomparably surging aura directly burst forth from his body, intimidating the heavens. In that instant, the entire world fell silent. Even the two people from the 10,000 Beast world didn't dare to say anything at this moment. However, at this moment, a discordant voice appeared. Someone from the ancient world? A trash world that was rejected by the myriad worlds. Do you think it was before civilization? There are still 13 human kings. So what if I can't accept it? As the sound of his voice faded, a screen appeared in the air, and soon after, a young man appeared. Immediately after, the young man walked down, his gaze filled with endless contempt as he looked at Long Fei. Not only that, with every step the young man took, the silhouette of a heavenly woman appeared in the air, blooming in all directions. He was simply a model in the world of acting tough. Long Fei had traveled through so many worlds, yet he had never seen such a high-profile appearance before. It was also at this time that two people from the 10,000 Beast world directly knelt on the ground. Welcome, young lord. At the same time, their expressions changed. There was no trace of panic on their faces anymore. In its place was endless arrogance and disdain. It was as if as long as this line was here, even if Long Fei was an ancient world, he would still not be scary, so there was no need to put him in your eyes. Of course, at this moment, the remaining people from the 10,000 worlds also kneeled down. Greetings, young Lord Wan Shou. In that instant, 10,000 worlds crawled forward. Of course, Jiang Chunqiu did not do it. In his hesitation, his gaze looked towards Long Fei. After that, she directly soared into the sky and stood behind Long Fei. This was his choice. Long Fei indifferently turned around and was somewhat curious about the choice that Jiang Chunqiu had made. Aren't you afraid of being implicated? Long Fei asked. When he saw Jiang Chunqiu make this choice, Long Fei was also somewhat surprised. After all, there was no actual connection between him and Jiang Chunqiu. In fact, if the other party had retreated at this time, Long Fei would not find it strange. Lord, right now, our great young world is connected to you. Don't even mention that you're someone from the ancient world. Even if you're being hunted by the entire myriad realms, I, Jiang Chunqiu, will not take a step back. Besides, I believe in my lord. Jiang Chunqiu said calmly. He had a serious expression on. Ha, what a way to believe it. With those words of yours, I have decided that I will protect you and your world from now on. Moreover, one day, you will rejoice over your choice today. But now I have one thing to do. As he said that, Long Fei's gaze turned towards the so-called young master of the 10,000 Beast world. Unconvinced, I'll beat you until you submit. With that, Long Fei's figure directly stepped forward. Young Lord Wan Shou, submission from 10,000 worlds? The existence of this freaking bug made Long Fei feel extremely disgusted. Especially this kind of acting tough, it made Long Fei feel really bad. The fierce might that he had just accumulated was actually suppressed by this person. This made Long Fei feel even more disgusted, as if his heart had just been eaten by this man. In any case, that was what he had punched out. In fact, in order to create momentum for the Yang God realm, even the noble realms have been suppressed without fear. But now, he was standing in the name of the ancient world. It was just 4 words, but everything was ruined. This result made Long Fei exceptionally angry in his heart. My lord, if we were to break out in conflict with him at this time, I'm afraid it wouldn't be appropriate. The war for the god of boundary is about to begin. If Master truly belongs to the ancient world and wants to participate in the war, then it will have to be fought in the 10,000 beast world. If I were to clash with him at this time, I'm afraid it would have an impact. Jiang Chunxiu was flustered. He immediately stopped Long Fei. Even if he had made a decision, he definitely didn't want Long Fei to clash with him head-on. After all, no matter how strong Long Fei was, he was still only a single person. As for the other side, they were in countless worlds. Of course, he had his own selfish thoughts as well. That was, he had already sworn with his world destiny, so he naturally wished for Long Fei to develop in such a wretched manner. He would become stronger in the future and then suppress these people. However, he did not understand Long Fei at all. Was Long Fei someone who went out of his way to avoid all of this? Impossible. Furthermore, Long Fei had his own defenses. Therefore, Long Fei immediately rejected Jiang Chunxiu's suggestion, shook his head and said, "There are some things that you don't understand. It's not to consider whether or not I can do it, because there's no other choice." With that, Long Fei made his move. "Because I am the ancient world's god of boundary, whoever disregards the ancient world is my enemy. The leader of the world is acting tough, so I will suppress the world directly. You all, it's the same." Long Fei's voice suddenly erupted. Every word seemed to contain a destructive power. When Long Fei's voice fell, all of the mountains in the 10,000 beast world could not bear it any longer and directly shattered into pieces. At this time, when the people from the 10,000 worlds saw Long Fei making his move, they also stood up one after another. Regardless of whether they were willing or not, at this moment, they couldn't hide it. It was for no other reason, but because Long Fei was someone from the ancient world. In their eyes, the words ancient world was a taboo. A man must be killed. Furthermore, the target of Long Fei's attack was the young master of the 10,000 beast world whom they had relied on. "Kid, you're too arrogant." "Young master is right. Do you really think it was before civilization? Does he really think that there are still 13 human kings? You dare to be disrespectful to the young master. Today is the day you die." Instantly, countless figures began to soar through the air. All of them were fighting to be the center of attention in front of the young lord of the 10,000 beast world. And the young master of the 10,000 beast world, at this moment, had a look of contempt on his face. "Ha ha ha! Do you see that? What qualifications do you have to act so arrogantly in front of this young lord? Suppressing the noble world? Suppressing the ancient chaos realm and crushing the meteorite world? So what? In my place, you are nothing but trash." The young master of the 10,000 beast world was currently extremely arrogant and didn't even look straight at Long Fei. As far as he was concerned, everything was made up by others. At the same time, his heart was filled with excitement. He thought, if he could kill Long Fei, then who in the entire 10,000 world would dare to ignore him, the young master of the 10,000 beast world? As he thought of this, a malevolent and crazed look appeared in his eyes as an endless killing intent exploded forth. "Go, all of you go. As long as we can kill this person, I will raise your status in the world a level. This gives you the chance to survive in the war for the god of boundary," the young lord of the 10,000 beast world said. As soon as the words left his mouth, everyone else immediately put down their doubts and attacked. People die for money, birds die for food. That's it. But at this time, Long Fei didn't care in the slightest. To him, these people were not the least bit lethal. Although his fleshly body wasn't invincible, it was already worthy of respect. However, he could crush these people with his physical strength. Boom! Finally, Long Fei's fist fell. The wild strength of his physical body evaporated in this punch. Instantly, the person who approached Long Fei first, without being able to even stand steadily, was directly smashed to death by Long Fei's fist. Crash! Flesh and blood rained down from the sky. Extremely berserk. It was simple and violent, without any unnecessary movements. In the blink of an eye, the footsteps of the 10,000 worlds came to a halt. "Ah, run, he's a devil, right? He can suppress the entire all world." We are no match for him. Damn it. Damn it. I was actually distracted and dared to attack him. For a moment, countless sounds of regret appeared once more. At this moment, they were frantically fleeing. What young master of the 10,000 beast world? What world advancement? It was all a joke. In the face of life and death, everything was a small matter. But at this time, a hint of ridicule appeared in Long Fei's eyes. The way you were licking the dogs just now really looks like love. Those that don't know, this old man thought that all of you were just people with strong taste that loved this bullsh asterisk T young master of the 10,000 beast world to the point of wanting to die. So it turned out to be, all of you are afraid of death as well. So, you guys also know that I, your father, will not show mercy when killing people. Long Fei said quietly, but did not say a word, and threw out a punch. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Countless fist shadows burst out at this moment, incomparably frenzied. The air in front of the 10,000 Beast World's gate was also completely lit ablaze. Frenzied explosions sounded out one after another. The illusory clouds exploded one after another. At the same time, countless screams of pain erupted. However, it only lasted for a second before it disappeared without a trace, because their lives had directly been ended by Long Fei. Ding! At the same time, the system's notification sound started to ring crazily. However, Long Fei did not care. His footsteps were slowly approaching the young master of the 10,000 beast world. You said that you are unconvinced? Long Fei laughed and asked coldly. The 10,000 beast world's young master's eyes turned vicious as he crazily glared at Long Fei and said, Brad, don't be arrogant. These people are just trash from the lower realms. You're already so proud of yourself after killing a few trash. The two of you attack. However, just as the sound of his voice faded, he discovered that the two cultivators from the 10,000 beast world had already disappeared without a trace. And in each of Long Fei's hands, he was grabbing onto one of them. And then he exerted force. Crack, crack, crack. The two of them immediately perished. They didn't even have the chance to cry for mercy before they died. Now, I ask you, are you convinced? You still won't accept it. Long Fei's eyes were firm and full of playfulness. Long Fei's eyes were firm and full of playfulness. The so-called 10,000 worlds in front of Long Fei could not even take a single blow. Even the two people in the 10,000 beast world could be considered as the best of the best. It simply could not withstand the might of one of Long Fei's punches. Suddenly, the young lord's expression changed. Bastard, you are offending the might of the heavens. The Wansho young master's eyes turned cold as he flew into a rage. Heaven's might? What the F asterisk CK are you? Who knows how many times stronger a person from the supreme realm can be compared to you? Heavens, you are an ant born into a locust and call yourself a great nation, a short-sighted fool. Do you know how arrogant you are? Long Fei said in disdain. The young master of the 10,000 beast world in front of him had a strong cultivation, but he was only at the black-clothed level of the prime world. However, he was just an emissary in the noble world. Just this point alone made the 10,000 beast world unqualified to compare with the transcendent realm. Very soon, you will know who exactly is the short-sighted fool. Fight with me. I will let you know, all below 10,000 beasts are ants. The 10,000 beast young master said coldly, enraged. In his fury, his figure retreated. Shortly after, the entire 10,000 beast world began to rumble. The earth quaked and the mountains shook. A roar suddenly erupted from the top of the 3,000 mountain peaks. Roar! Roar! Daring to touch the young lord of the 10,000 beast world, he's courting his own death. You reckless fool! No matter where you come from, you will still die today. Go kill him! For a time, the 3,000 peaks moved. Countless berserk beasts bellowed at the sky from above, carrying with them an aura that could sweep away the world as they trampled over. Rumble! Countless motes of smoke and dust filled the air. It was as if he wanted to trample over all 3,000 peaks. Haha, awesome. You are so awesome. So what if I can kill the trash from these worlds? You don't have the right to be arrogant in front of me. The young lord of the 10,000 beast world was incomparably arrogant. As he saw the 3,000 peaks revolt, the panic in his eyes vanished without a trace. And at this time, Long Fei's face also slightly changed. 10,000 beasts tied, incomparable savagery. And at this moment, Long Fei finally understood the true terror of the 10,000 beast world. What was terrifying was not just the person, but the 10,000 beasts. The 3,000 peaks were home to thousands of beasts. Furthermore, it was not a demon beast. It was a completely unfathomable material transformation, incomparably violent. Just like the space beasts and alien, their bodies radiated with a terrifying energy. So. Ow, 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 ow. In the blink of an eye, the sound of countless roars and sword whistles blotted out the sky and covered the earth. One figure after another became blurred and blurred, floating in the air as if they were ghosts, directly enveloping Long Fei and Jiang Chunxiu within. Haha, if you're even more amazing, let me see. Do you really think you can sweep through the myriad worlds without showing your might? Let's wait for death. When 10,000 beasts go berserk, even the stars can be torn apart. From today onwards, the 10,000 worlds will know that a person who dares to step on the heavens is directly killed by this daddy. At that time, this daddy will be the rising star of the 10,000 worlds. The young lord of the 10,000 beast world laughed like a madman. He was incomparably arrogant. At this moment, Long Fei was already a dead man in his eyes. The 3,000 front lines were already in an uproar, and the power of the 10,000 beasts was also completely erupting. These existences had once battled in the starry sky, and had even caused the deaths of countless transcendent powers. This was the reason why the myriad beast world was now the overlord of this world. Therefore, he completely believed that there was no possibility for Long Fei to survive this kind of power. No matter how awesome Long Fei was, he did not put him in his eyes. This was because this was his trump card, his absolute trump card. Below, the people from the 10,000 worlds also had faces full of shock. 10,000 beasts? Even if the three of them cannot compare with the power of the 10,000 beast world, it would be enough to shock the world. Right, this kid is dead for sure. No wonder the young lord is so confident. It turns out he has this kind of power. Let's see how this kid will die this time. The voice of a million worlds sounded once again. Yin She had completely forgotten about all the people he had killed earlier, and he could only hide in a corner and wait for Long Fei to finish. Jiang Chunxiu said worriedly. Although he was not a person from the 10,000 beast world, he had heard of the fame of the Wanshou Battle Legion before. Master, this is a batch of power that the 10,000 beast world nurtured here. It is completely the same as the local power of the 10,000 beast world. Although it is not as powerful as the 10,000 beast world, it is still very strong. Jiang Chunxiu said. Although he knew, he couldn't persuade Long Fei at all. They only saw Long Fei sending Jiang Chunxiu out of the perimeter with only 100 of them. Following that, Long Fei looked at the berserk beasts that were dancing in the sky. His eyes flickered with a bright light, because at this moment, when all the beasts attacked, what Long Fei saw was not fear, but welfare. Haha, this is just a F*King reward for experience. 10,000 or so wild beasts, based on the amount of experience each of them had. This number will be extremely comfortable, Long Fei thought. His gaze was fixated from beginning to end on the flying mad beasts in the sky. He felt incomparably excited. However, there was no time for him to think any further. The attacks of the beasts were drawing closer and closer. Swish! A shadow of a wild beast appeared in front of Long Fei and reached out to grab him. On the sharp claw, a light flashed, and even Long Fei's clothes were torn apart. However, it was at this moment that a cracking sound could be heard. The wild beast that attacked Long Fei first. The moment its beast claws made contact with Long Fei's flesh, they were instantly snapped. Illo, my hand! A blood-curdling screech filled the air. However, Long Fei didn't care at all. This wild beast's body was covered with extremely rare pieces, just like the lava titan in a game. It was ferocious and terrifying. What a thick turtle shell. But it's useless. You still want to kill me if you can't even break my body? Idiot. As he said that, the power exploded out of Long Fei's palm and directly tore apart the wild beast's scale. Instantly, the berserk beast blood was like a reservoir that had opened, leaking to the bottom. Crash! Wild beast blood filled the sky. Soon after, another miserable scream was heard. Crash! Blood stained the air. Yet Long Fei still did not pause in the slightest. It was as though he was fishing. The entire space was his pond. With a casual swipe, a wild beast was killed. In an instant, the entire sky above the 10,000 beast world had become a slaughterhouse for Long Fei alone. 10,000 beasts. Is it that amazing? At this moment, it was sufficient to prove that no matter how awesome he was in Long Fei's hands, he would still be a piece of trash. Boom, boom, boom. In the end, Long Fei immediately lost interest and started to make his move. With every punch, countless wild beasts from the 10,000 beast world would be annihilated, their blood staining the void. Rumble. In just a few breaths of time, all of the wild beasts in this world disappeared, leaving only endless beast blood. As for Long Fei, he looked like a scoundrel who had slaughtered the heavens and earth. His face was ice cold. As for the 10,000 beast world's young master, his face was already deathly pale from fright. His soul was scattered, and he constantly shook his head as he continued to retreat. You want to run? From the beginning till the end, Long Fei had never planned to make a move. From the beginning till the end, Long Fei had never planned to make a move. The reason he came to the 10,000 beast world was because he wanted to learn more about the Yang God realm through the powers here. However, trouble kept coming. But Long Fei had never been afraid of trouble. He had his rules. If anyone crossed this line, he would be killed without mercy. No matter who it was, even if it was the Heavenly Emperor, he still wouldn't be able to make Long Fei fear him. No, you can't kill me. I am the young master of the 10,000 beast world, and my father is the 10,000 beast world's god of boundary. His might is monstrous. If you kill me, you're finished. There is no place for you in all the realms of heaven. Even if you return to the ancient world, it would be hard for you to escape death. The 10,000 beast world's young master hysterically roared. He threatened. Threatening me? Are you stupid? He still dares to threaten us now. Long Fei said indifferently, but he was waiting for something in his heart. At that moment, the system's voice suddenly rang out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing 10,000 beasts of the 10,000 beast world. The total experience obtained has reached 27 billion. At first, Long Fei had thought that he would have to listen to the system's fanfare again. Unexpectedly, the system was extremely human this time, directly arranging the final numbers and passing it over. And at this moment, Long Fei's heart was also thumping loudly. 27 billion. What sort of concept was that? Damn, it's a gift. 27 billion experience points. I'm about to reach level 1. Haha, awesome. Long Fei was extremely excited, his eyes locking onto the experience bar. Right now, he was at the 4th stage of the super great complete realm. If he wanted to level up, he would need 400 billion experience points. And this time, it was a total of 270 billion. Plus the previous level up, there was only a few billion left. By killing a group of them, he would be able to level up. As he thought about it, Long Fei locked his gaze onto the 10,000 beast world's young master. Fuck, I won't rest until I'm done. As long as I kill you, I might be able to level up. As this thought flashed through Long Fei's mind, he was about to attack. Although the young lord of the 10,000 beast world wasn't a boss, he was still far stronger than these 10,000 beasts. However, it was at this moment that a rumbling sound suddenly filled the air. An incredibly heavy pressure directly fell from the sky and landed on Long Fei's body. Long Fei was startled, and his body became extremely heavy. He felt that raising a hand was a kind of difficulty. Not good, my lord. This is the limit of the rules of this place where all worlds intersect. Jiang Chunxiu also spoke up at this moment. The eternal law. Long Fei asked, Lord, the 10,000 Beast world is an extremely powerful world within the 10,000 worlds. The power of laws has already propped up a part of the heaven and earth. In a place where all worlds intersect, the power of 10,000 types of laws shall gather. The 10,000 Beast world is able to control a region, and even the power of laws in these worlds is controlled by the 10,000 Beast world. At this moment, I'm afraid that this rule has already been set in motion. Jiang Chunxiu explained, his eyes full of admiration and, of course, lingering fear. What he admired was that Long Fei was truly tyrannical. He was completely invincible. A single person sweeping across a world. Even if there were 10,000 beasts rampaging, they would all be killed by Long Fei. This sort of battle record could be counted on one hand. But the thing he was afraid of was that the edicts of the 10,000 worlds would be activated. Ha, have you gone stupid? The laws of 10,000 worlds have appeared. Kid, you can be proud of yourself. However, you still can't do as you wish in the end. As long as the laws of this universe remain, you cannot attack me. Otherwise, just the power of these laws alone will be able to crush you to pieces. The 10,000 Beast World's young master's expression changed, and he began to laugh. On the other hand, Long Fei's face darkened even more. F***CK, is this the boss aura? Your father is still the owner of the system? I dare to take second place in the ring. Who would dare to take first place? Long Fei felt helpless. This kind of suppression, due to the power of laws, was something his physical body could not withstand. He felt that even his internal organs had been suppressed. He was extremely helpless. Especially seeing the 10,000 Beast World's young master acting so arrogantly right now, Long Fei felt extremely unhappy in his heart. F***CK, what rules are they? Even if the God's General's 10,000 worlds are broken today, I will still kill you. Long Fei cursed. Wrath began to well up in his heart. Because he had the system, he relied on it all the way up. He used it all the way up. He hadn't met anyone yet. And in front of him, the young master of the 10,000 Beast world had actually stopped Long Fei from killing him, due to the reinforcement of the laws of the 10,000 realms. It was completely open. It's such a great feeling to hang up now. How could I let you go on like this? I can't endure it. I can't tolerate it. I don't care what the rules of the 10,000 worlds are today. In my rules, you must die. Long Fei raised his head and said with a cold voice. In Long Fei's worldview, all his actions had to have one line. Once he crossed that line, he would unscrupulously develop, and he would be the bane of the world. When it came to disasters, Long Fei's method was to cut the grass at the root. It was clear that the young master of the 10,000 Beast world had displeased Long Fei. If he were to lower his head to the laws of the myriad realms, then from now on, Long Fei would be afraid of the power of laws of the myriad realms. He would be humiliated again and again by the 10,000 Beast world's young master. This was something that Long Fei definitely did not want to see. Unhappy? So what if you're unhappy? Within the boundaries of the 10,000 Beast world, the 10,000 worlds rules are the will of 10,000 worlds, the god of boundary of tens of thousands worlds, and the condensed rules. Are you unconvinced? What are you trying to act cool for? You want to become enemies with the 10,000 worlds god of boundary. Why don't you take a look at who you are? The young lord of the 10,000 Beast world boldly said, as if he had nothing to fear. His words were full of mockery. Lord, hold it in. Once you make a move, there will be no turning back. You will be directly standing opposite of the 10,000 Beast world. Then, not so much. Can Lousy tolerate such a disgusting person acting so atrociously in Lousy's place? It doesn't exist. You and I have not known each other for long, so you might not know me. Your father's temper is, kill all the pretentious people. Long Fei immediately interrupted Jiang Chunxiu. Become enemies with the 10,000 worlds? facing tens of thousands of God of Boundary, yes? So what? A realm under the control of a noble realm? Who would consider letting him go? Especially the fact that he had only said the 3 words, ancient world, just now, that had caused him a wave of hostility. In this sort of situation, how could he be on good terms with the 10,000 worlds? Since he couldn't live in peace, then let's do it. As for retreat, it did not exist. When he thought about that, Long Fei suddenly raised his head. All the bones in his body released a cracking sound. Crack, crack, crack. Streams of blood stains appeared on Long Fei's body. It was extremely terrifying. Even his pores and orifices were instantly soaked in blood. Lord, don't be rash. The Green Mountains are here, so I'm not afraid of the lack of firewood. Below, Jiang Chunxiu was shouting crazily, but Long Fei completely ignored him. At this moment, Long Fei stood up forcibly against the laws of the myriad realms. So what if it's the eternal law? Before your father's rule, any rule is just bullshit. Great hand seal of the mortal life. Form it for me. In the center of the intersecting 10,000 worlds was a large circular palace. In the center of the intersecting 10,000 worlds was a large circular palace. 10 figures stood at different seats. These were the 10 strongest worlds of the entire myriad realms. Of course, the highest realm. Even if they were extremely strong, they could only be subservient to the noble world. Everyone, the war for the God of Boundary is about to begin. Now, the forces of the 10,000 realms have arrived. At the very top, a blurry figure could be seen, surrounded by countless strands of violet chi. His voice was extremely casual, but it had a supreme quality to it. Thus, no one dared to be disobedient. He was the God of Boundary of the noble world, the state of Zhou. Honorable Zhou, isn't it a little early to open it now? Many of the world's God of Boundary have not even arrived. They have only sent some trash here to make up to their numbers. If he were to open it now, doesn't it mean that there's no way to differentiate between the true powers? Immediately, an old man spoke up. "Huh," Zun Wang sneered. Not a word. However, it was this laughter that made the atmosphere in the hall turn incomparably cold. Even the expressions of the other 10 changed. Immediately, the old man was rendered speechless. The atmosphere also became extremely strange. Anyone could hear the warning in this sneer. "You say that we shouldn't open it now?" The old devil looked at the old man and asked softly. The old man stared in shock. He was just about to raise his head when he suddenly took a step back. No, this old one did not mean that. The old man's face was deathly pale as he knelt down. Moreover, even the way she addressed him had changed. This was his name. However, it was a form of respect. "What about you? Does anyone have any objections?" The king's gaze pierced through the endless, dense purple chi, as if it would pierce into their souls, causing their expressions to become extremely tense at this moment. Haha, it doesn't matter what you say. That's right. After all, the God of Boundary from those worlds can't escape the power of attraction. As long as we set up a list, they can't escape even if they wanted to. You're right. That's how they used to come. There won't be any accidents this time. Everyone began to speak up, but no one dared to remain silent. In front of the emperor, he was like a pug, kneeling and licking. This is for the best." And Zunzhou answered in a satisfied tone. He felt extremely comfortable in his heart when he saw this scene. This was because he was the God of Boundary of the noble world, and the noble world was the head of all worlds. Therefore, he needed absolute control. And now, the reaction of the crowd just so happened to be proof of his absolute rule. In that case, you can go back. This time, all the God of Boundary of the myriad realms will be here. Remember, I'm not telling you. I'm ordering you, Honorable Zhou said. But now, the God of Boundary of the 10th world did not dare to refute him at all. But just at that moment, one of the 10 people suddenly raised his head. His aura exploded and endless killing intent leaked out. Zun Wang's expression turned cold. Just as he was about to erupt in rage, he saw the man clasping his hands together and saying, "Master Evil, there's been a riot in our 10,000 beast world. I wonder which world this reckless creature comes out from and actually openly defies the laws of the boundless universe. I'm afraid I have to go first. The person who spoke was no one else but the god of boundary of the 10,000 beast world. It was then that the expression on the face of the emperor eased up slightly. Someone is resisting the eternal law. Interesting. This sort of thing had never happened in countless years. After civilization, there's never been anyone who has remained so arrogant. Coincidentally, go and suppress this person. Realface would like to see if there's anything special about him. Honorable Zhou said, I will definitely not disappoint the king. The 10,000 beast god of boundaries said, and with a flash, he left the hall. The scene turned back to the myriad beast world. In the sky, a monstrous hand instantly condensed, directly lifting up the world's laws. Ha ha, you truly overestimate yourself. You want to fight against the rules? Who do you think you are? To go against the laws of the 10,000 worlds. Do you think you can compare with the 13 kings of the past? They can't even go against the rules of the world. Do you think you can overturn the heavens? The Wansho young master was disapproving, completely disdainful. Looking down at Long Fei, his face was extremely sinister. Below, the people of the 10,000 worlds also looked at Long Fei with amusement. In their eyes, Long Fei was simply courting death. He actually wanted to rely on himself to resist the eternal law. This was something that was impossible to do. Truly ignorant. He doesn't know how high the heavens are and how deep the earth is. What is that thing? This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. He actually used his body and supernatural powers to attack the world's laws, and also the laws of 10,000 worlds. What an idiot. Just watch. I have a feeling that he will be crushed into pieces by the laws of this world. Sounds of mockery and ridicule rang out one after another. They all treated Long Fei as an idiot. Jiang Chunqiu's face was also filled with anxiety. Looking at the struggling Long Fei, his heart burned with anxiety. What should we do? Why will we trigger the rules of the world? How can a single person face this kind of power? Even the man from the Great Sun Realm couldn't resist it at all. This won't do. My lord, nothing must happen to you. Otherwise, I won't be able to keep my life. Jiang Chunqiu's eyes were filled with panic. Right at this moment, a loud explosion sounded in the sky and immediately attracted the attention of the crowd. In the middle of the air, that pair of gigantic hands suddenly shattered. However, Long Fei's figure also directly soared into the sky at this time. The power of the natural laws of all worlds was instantly crushed by the giant hand, disappearing without a trace. Long Fei was already drenched in blood. It was difficult for him to withstand the suppression of the laws of an entire world. The edicts of 10,000 worlds? That's nothing. I've long since said that before my laws, the laws of 10,000 worlds will no longer exist. Long Fei's voice fell from the sky. It was incomparably cold. In that instant, the entire 10,000 beast world was enveloped in a thick killing intent. It was as if he was an unforgivable existence in the void. In the center of this killing intent was Long Fei. Instantly, the entire world was thrown into chaos. The laws of this all-world have shattered. Heavens, how is this possible? He broke through the laws of 10,000 worlds with his own strength. How is this possible? Is he a god? How can a single person's power be so strong? These people were completely flustered. Previously, they were even absolutely certain that Long Fei would definitely not succeed, and the final result would definitely be him being suppressed. But now, he had been slapped hard by reality. Not only was Long Fei safe and sound, he had also broke all the rules of this 10,000 worlds. No, I don't believe you. How could you possibly break the rules of 10,000 worlds? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. The young master of the 10,000 beast world crazily shook his head, panicking. This time, he was truly terrified. However, Long Fei actually lowered his head at this moment, playing around. Now, tell me, who is the idiot? The void was silent. The void was silent. Only Long Fei's voice reverberated in the space above. Who is an idiot? At this moment, the people from the myriad realms were all slapped in the face by Long Fei. All of them stood in the air like defeated roosters, constantly trembling and constantly averting their gaze. In their mouths, they described Long Fei as an idiot. But now, it turned out that they were the ones who were truly ignorant. And at this time, Long Fei couldn't be bothered to pay attention to them at all. He directly turned around and looked at the 10,000 Beast World's young master. Now, if I want to kill you, who can save you? Long Fei said coldly. Now Long Fei's killing intent directly raged towards the 10,000 Beast World's young master. It had also burst to the limit. Don't! You can't kill me. The laws of the 10,000 realms have been triggered. My father definitely already knows. There's still time for you to leave. If you dare hurt me, you're dead. The young lord of the 10,000 Beast World said. Even now, he was still as arrogant as before. Long Fei was startled. He felt that this man was truly lacking in intelligence. Now that the 10,000 Worlds rules could not restrain him, would he still be afraid of the 10,000 Beast World's god of boundary? Is god of boundary that awesome? It's like who's not a god of boundary. It's all god of boundary. Who's afraid of who? Therefore, Long Fei simply did not care about the 10,000 Beast World's young master's threat, let alone the fact that the 10,000 Beast World's god of boundary was not here. Even if it was really right in front of his eyes, Long Fei should still kill him. Lord, don't be rash. This person is not lying. The 10,000 Beast World, under the control of the god of boundary, I'm afraid the rules of the 10,000 World are about to come. Jiang Chunqiu also said. At this moment, Jiang Chunqiu's face was full of excitement. Their eyes were all squeezed together. Nothing else. It was just because Long Fei was too powerful. It was a complete miracle. To the best of his knowledge, in all these years, there had never been a single person capable of resisting the laws of the world. But Long Fei, not only did he block the power of the rules, he even suppressed them. The first person, and he just so happened to fawn on her again. What could be more exciting than this? Therefore, he didn't want Long Fei to take the risk even more right now. He didn't want Long Fei and the 10,000 Beast World's god of boundary to face it so early. All right then, it has nothing to do with me. Worst comes to worst, just a fight. Long Fei said. Not all. Jiang Chunqiu's heartbeat immediately sped up as he looked at the indifferent Long Fei. He really wanted to slap himself in the face. They were afraid that they wouldn't hear what Long Fei was saying clearly. But Long Fei, on the other hand, didn't care at all. He took a step forward and directly stood in front of the 10,000 Beast World's young master. Pow! A slap flew over. Arrogant. Acting cool. Are you King pretending again? Heaven Lady Scattered Flower, right? The young lord of the 10,000 Beast World, right? You want to kill Lousy and go to the 10,000 Worlds to act cool, right? Long Fei asked again and again, and every time he asked a question, he would cover it with his palm. In just a few breaths of time, the 10,000 Beast World's young master was beaten into a pig's head by Long Fei. I'm going to kill you, the young lord of the 10,000 Beast World viciously said. The hatred was monstrous. Kill me, why don't you do it? However, Long Fei sneered and kicked him. He directly kicked the 10,000 Beast World's young master down from the void. Immediately afterwards, Long Fei's figure flew downwards, once again arriving in front of the 10,000 Beast World's young master. Now, who do you think can save you? Long Fei asked. His eyes turned cold. The Chaos War sword immediately moved, enveloping the 10,000 Beast Sector Lord's neck. As long as he used a little strength, he could cut open his arteries and use his blade to behead the Sector Lord. At this moment, the 10,000 Beast World's young master was finally afraid. His swollen face, which could no longer clearly see his facial features, finally revealed a terrified expression. At this moment, he finally understood. Long Fei not only dared to kill him. Moreover, he wasn't afraid of his father at all. No, I beg you, don't kill me. I can allow the ancient world to rise above the rest of the myriad realms and become a super powerful existence that is second only to my 10,000 beast world. Moreover, I can also split out a part of the world to become the ancient world's slave world. As long as you don't kill me, I'll give you whatever you want. The young lord of the 10,000 beast world opened his mouth to beg for mercy. Without any shame, he tightly grabbed Long Fei's arm. He was just a step away from kneeling down. Begging for mercy? Ha! TSK, TSK, TSK. I thought the young master of the 10,000 beast world was awesome. So even you're afraid of death. But sadly, if I want to kill you, it has nothing to do with whether you're afraid or not. Long Fei said indifferently, his gaze like sword beams, as though he had fused with the sword in his hand. So go die. Long Fei's voice changed, the sword in his hand directly pushed forward. However, at this moment, an incomparably surging killing intent directly descended through the boundless void. Boom! Rumble. The 30,000-meter region around them was ripped open, and a single palm slashed through the endless void. This wave of power had directly attacked Long Fei, seemingly wanting to kill him with a single palm strike. Suddenly, Long Fei reacted and immediately took a step back. You dog, you want to kill my son? Outside of the void, a voice sounded out with incomparable rage. Father, you've finally come. Ah, father, you have to kill him. I want him to live a life worse than death. Immediately, the young lord of the 10,000 beast world went crazy once again. Below, the atmosphere was boiling once again. Lord God of Boundary is here. This time, this brat is dead for sure. He actually dares to humiliate us like this. A declining world, a world that was excluded from the 10,000 worlds after civilization. How dare you act so arrogantly in front of us? You must die. Master God of Boundary, kill him. The people of the 10,000 worlds were as arrogant as if a dog had found its master. At this time, Long Fei's gaze also fell on the empty space. A figure had already descended. The aura emanating from his body was incomparably formidable. At least, in Long Fei's senses, it was on par with the Emperor Xian back then. It was even a little stronger than the Emperor Xian. More importantly, the light on the head of the 10,000 beast god of Boundary. He was simply blind. F***CK, boss. Big boss. Long Fei's heart was in turmoil as he continuously shouted out. At this moment, a boundless desire was born in his heart. What 10,000 beast worlds god of Boundary, the young master of the 10,000 beast world. It was all just clouds. Boss, the true meaning of eternity. Bastard, you're the one that dares to go against the laws of the myriad worlds? Furthermore, you've even made my 10,000 beast world into such a state. You still want to kill my son? This king asks you, who was it that gave you the courage? The 10,000 beast world's god of Boundary continued to speak, its eyes filled with killing intent. But what he did not know was that, at this moment, Long Fei did not take these words to heart at all. In his mind, there was only one thought. The boss had dropped it. Father, stop talking nonsense. This man is from the ancient world. After civilization, no one from the ancient world has ever come here. There must be something extraordinary hidden within his body. If we kill him, we might learn about the secret of the forbidden land of 10,000 worlds. The young master of the 10,000 beast world suddenly said as he looked at Long Fei with incomparable hatred. Good. Now that he's been arrogant for so long, it's time to suppress him. I'll let the myriad beast world know that my world is the true ruler. God of Boundary's eyes lit up, especially after hearing the words ancient world. His eyes shone brightly without batting an eyelid. It was also at this time that Long Fei spoke out of the blue. Are you done? A boss dares to look down on me? Don't waste your time. Today, I will kill you. Long Fei never had any resistance towards bosses. Long Fei never had any resistance towards bosses. It was simply the type of 100% temptation to not move at all. In the history of the game, from the moment Long Fei obtained the system, he went all out. Unless they met someone who was on a completely different level than them and had no choice but to retreat. However, the final result was still the same. Each one of them could escape Long Fei's grasp. But now it was different. Although the 10,000 Beast God of Boundary was formidable, it ruled over all realms. But don't forget, Long Fei was also not the same as before. Furthermore, up till now, Long Fei had not even used his own methods. Most of them relied on their powerful physical bodies to suppress others. Therefore, when facing the 10,000 Beast God of Boundary, Long Fei was not the least bit afraid, only excited. Explode me. Brat, I'm afraid you're too arrogant. Do you think this king is these trash? Do you think you have the ability to be arrogant in front of this king? What a joke. The 10,000 Beast God of Boundary's face turned cold. Arrogance requires strength. You'll only know if you have the ability or not after you fight. Long Fei said. As he spoke, endless blood aura started to surge from Long Fei's body. A vortex of primordial chaos was instantly formed. Streams of the wild beast blood that had filled the air was swept in, whistling through the air like tornadoes. Long Fei's figure leaped up and directly stood at the center of the whirlpool. In addition, all the pores on his body opened up at this moment, devouring the endless blood energy. Instantly, all his injuries began to heal at a speed visible to the naked eye. In just the blink of an eye, the injuries Long Fei had suffered while resisting the power of the laws of the world healed as good as new. His entire body also returned to his peak state. This was the true, heaven-defying aspect of the chaos vortex. Furthermore, Long Fei had previously refined the endless blood pool left behind by the Lord of Primal Chaos, causing a miraculous connection between his physical strength and the chaotic whirlpool. Once the chaos vortex was unleashed, the monstrous amounts of blood energy immediately began to purify, absorbing the essence within and refining the body. Actually recovered? The expression on the face of the 10,000 Beast God of Boundary also changed. But at the same time, there was more light in his eyes. It kept flashing. It was as if Long Fei was a living treasure that contained countless secrets, waiting for him to unearth them. But what can I do after recovering? Do you think you're so awesome just because you've resisted the rule that no one is controlling? Too naive. Now that this king has returned, you are destined to be a tragedy. The 10,000 Beast God of Boundary said, its eyes filled with arrogance. They simply did not place Long Fei in their eyes. Since ancient times, no one has ever been able to resist this king's rule. Not in the past, and not now. Myriad Dao rules fuse. Instantly, the 10,000 Beast God of Boundary moved. His body was filled with the 10,000 natural laws as he soared into the sky. Instantly, a boundless pressure filled the entire space, incomparably vast. Shwa shwa shwa. In that instant, the power of the laws reassembled in the air. And this time, it was even more violent than before. Ha ha, kid. Let's see how you're going to act so arrogant this time. Aren't you going to kill me? Come on, you dog. So what if your ancient world? In front of this young master, it's just a pile of shit. The 10,000 Beast World's young master once again had an incomparably arrogant expression. This time, he was truly confident. At this time, his body had already left the battlefield and appeared behind the 10,000 Beast God of Boundary. She looked at Long Fei with an arrogant face, as if she was looking at a dead man. That was because in front of him was his father. For millions of years, he had not been able to survive his father's wrath. This time, it was the same for Long Fei. Furthermore, the 10,000 Beast God of Boundary was extremely cooperative at the moment. His incomparably cold face was filled with the desire to kill. Ha! What do you think, little bastard? You are arrogant in front of this king's rules, aren't you? Show me another one. Trash. The 10,000 Beast God of Boundary was extremely arrogant, controlling all tens of thousands of rules, looking down from above. At this moment, every single law finally displayed its most violent power. Each of these laws contain a different kind of power. The edicts of all world the power of 10,000 worlds. The power of laws from before was on a completely different level compared to this. Long Fei also did not feel very well at the moment. Even with the primal chaos vortex, he could still feel that his flesh and blood was about to explode. Rumble. It was at this time that the power of tens of thousands of laws rumbled down. Boom! The earth began to crack and the void began to collapse. Even the people from a myriad realms would turn into dust under this kind of power. No, no, no. Master God of Boundary, we are your subordinates. Don't want me to kill me. I'm innocent. I'm one of you. Master God of Boundary, the one you want to kill is this brat, no? The people from the myriad realms screamed. Under the suppression of this power of laws, they weren't able to resist at all. It directly turned into a bloody mist. Long Fei's gaze wavered, and all of a sudden, he struck out with a mortal life great palm, sending Jiang Chunxiu flying into the air with a single slap. This was because such power wasn't something that Jiang Chunxiu could face. Damn it! Luckily, it is already the God of Boundary, and the great hand seal of the mortal life can be unleashed indefinitely. Otherwise, if I were to use this move, I would be dead by half a level. As Long Fei thought about this, his gaze fixed on the mortal life great palm, and he attacked again. Boom! The will of the world erupted forth. He broke through the void. In the blink of an eye, numerous pairs of shadows formed in the air, clashing head-on against the power of 10,000 natural laws. At this time, Long Fei's eyes were also filled with shock. This kind of power had never happened before when he was fighting against the mortal life great palm. This was not all, but more importantly, these figures were actually from the ancient world. Most of them were Mu clan disciples. There were also a few other cultivators. It was as if his spirit was branded upon them. Instantly, a hint of excitement appeared in Long Fei's heart. He finally understood. No wonder the mortal life great palm can only be unleashed indefinitely after it has become a god of boundary. Because this common life is precisely the common life of the ancient world. You have the laws of 10,000 worlds, and I have the laws of this world. Break! Long Fei's fighting spirit was high. At this time, the system's voice suddenly appeared in his mind. Ding, discovered can fuse power, the great seal of the mortal life. Ding, power of laws starting to devour. The system's notification sound kept ringing, and Long Fei was also stunned for a moment. Devour natural law. These words were too shocking. Just as he was thinking of how to break the rules of the 10,000 beast god of boundary, he never thought that the great hand seal of the mortal life would actually engulf him directly. System, are you a demon? No, you are a god. You can even swallow the power of laws. Do you have to be so awesome? Long Fei was extremely excited as he looked towards the sky. The endless power of laws began to dissipate. The endless power of laws began to dissipate. Under the waves of will of the living beings, the energies dissipated into the air without any surprise. As the power of the laws was devoured, Long Fei could clearly feel it. The mortal life great palm had changed. Boom! In an instant, an aura burst forth from the life seal. A violent comparison. Rays of light shot into the heavens, smashing through the 10,000 natural laws. In that instant, the expression on the 10,000 beast god of boundary changed. Devouring laws? The 10,000 beast god of boundary snorted coldly, its expression sinister. He also looked at Long Fei with a little more caution. He had never seen or thought of this power before. How is this possible? Even devouring natural law. Even the 10,000 beast god of boundary was dumbfounded. As it stared blankly at the scene before its eyes, it even forgot to take action. From civilization onwards, the rules were supreme and were created by the myriad worlds. There was simply no existence that could be tainted by them. As soon as the natural law appeared, it crushed down. But now, one could see with the naked eye that the power of 10,000 laws he was using was dwindling nonstop. No, I can't wait any longer. This kid is very strange. I have to kill him. It was the first time for the 10,000 beast god of boundary to panic in its heart. Threads of killing intent appeared in his eyes. But at this time, the young lord of the 10,000 beast world suddenly spoke. "Father, what are you waiting for? As long as you act, you can suppress trash like him. I must kill him. I have never seen him act so arrogantly in front of me. You still dare to slap my face? I'll definitely let you know what it means to have a life worse than death." The young lord of the 10,000 beast world coldly said, constantly urging Lin Ming on. Pow! But what welcomed him was a slap on the face of the 10,000 beast god of boundary. "Father." The 10,000 beast world's young master was stunned. He didn't know which segment had the problem, and his eyes were filled with grievance. "Bastard, you know my ass. How can you provoke such an existence?" "Scram back." The 10,000 beast god of boundary snorted coldly. At this time, he had to get serious. Long Fei's methods were too strange and gave him a strange feeling. Thus, he absolutely could not allow his son to stay here, lest some accident occurred. With his cultivation, he simply could not perceive the changes in the power of the laws at all, and it was even more impossible for him to believe that the power of the laws had been devoured by Long Fei's power. However, even in the face of the icy cold 10,000 beast god of boundary, he still retreated a distance. Below, the corner of Long Fei's mouth curved into a smile. "Extremely cold. Go." "Can you leave?" Long Fei said indifferently, after which his gaze focused and the chaos battle sword appeared in his hand. Instantly, he soared into the skies. Boom! As the sword thrust out, the tens of thousands of natural laws were once again shattered and split into countless pieces. Crash! The power of the laws turned into rootless duckweed and was devoured by the hand seal. "Is it your 10,000 worlds rules?" "Not really," Long Fei said, as he looked straight at the 10,000 beast god of boundary. He didn't care at all. The face of the 10,000 beast god of boundary darkened. It's only cut down a few rules, so why are you so arrogant?" "Don't worry, this king will let you know what the rules are. According to the rules, everything is fleeting." With that, the 10,000 beast god of boundary turned and pressed down with both hands. Boom! All of a sudden, the power of tens of thousands of natural laws erupted out. Rumble. In that instant, the remaining power of laws began to melt on its own. And then, all of them began to devour each other. 1,000 to 1,000, 1,000 to 1,000. In the end, there was only the power of laws left. However, at this moment, the power of laws had transformed into a long sword that hovered in the air. The eyes of the god of boundary of 10,000 beasts were ice cold. With a move of its body, it grabbed the long sword in its hand. "A trash world like you can swallow it? What about now? You want to devour one more?" The 10,000 beast god of boundary shouted coldly. Swish! The sword slashed down. Rumble. Wherever the sword light went, it would be suppressed. Everything was annihilated. In an instant, Long Fei's scalp went numb. Facing this sword strike, he felt his entire body involuntarily send out a signal of danger. It was just like how, if he couldn't dodge, he might die. Mother asterisk her, this is the first boss of the entire 10,000 world. And it's that hard to deal with? Long Fei did not dare to be negligent. He had thought that the system would make its move and swallow up the rules, making it easy for him to destroy the 10,000 beast god of boundary. But who would have thought? It wasn't as simple as he thought. Swish! But now, the power of this sort of law had arrived, so Long Fei couldn't afford to think too much about it. Great hand seal of the mortal life, suppress me. He let out a heavy shout. Long Fei once again executed the great hand seal of the mortal life. Instantly, a pair of large hands raised up into the air, wanting to grasp the laws within their hands. Rumble. But right at this moment, in the hands of the 10,000 beast god of boundary, a cold light flashed between the natural laws, and the endless power of the laws instantly went berserk. The sword beam pierced through the hand seal. Boom! The void exploded. A giant mushroom cloud appeared, bursting forth with devastating damage. Boom! Under this power, Long Fei's body was immediately sent flying backwards. Rumble. The three frontliners who had faces that stretched tens of thousands of kilometers were immediately smashed apart by Long Fei, almost falling into the endless abyss. At this time, the power of the great hand seal of the entire mortal life was also dispersed by this sword strike. The center of the palm was pierced, and all four fingers were cut off. The boundless life force also disappeared without a trace. Haha, come and devour, you reckless fool. At first, this god of boundary thought that it was awesome for it to actually swallow the rules. But now, it seems like it can only swallow some of the rules in this trash world. However, so what? It's useless. In front of this king, you are nothing but dregs. The 10,000 beast god of boundary laughed coldly. The heaviness on his face dissipated. If strength could be said to have caused him to be cautious before this, then after this strike, he would no longer see Long Fei's strength as anything at all. Haha, father, don't rush to kill him. He actually dared to act cool in front of me just now. This time, let's see how I'll toy with him to death. To dare act so arrogantly in front of this young master, I must not let this matter rest. At this time, the young lord of the 10,000 beast world also jumped out, incomparably excited. The corners of his mouth curled up in a sinister smile. Ha, good. This boy's out of date. His power has already been erased by me. Killing him is as easy as flipping my hand. Your father will watch your performance next. The 10,000 beast god of boundary had an excited expression. Towards Long Fei, there was no fear at all. Fine. Father, watch carefully. The people from ancient world, I'm so scared. You actually dare to act tough in front of me. I shall see how you die this time. The young master of the 10,000 beast world laughed as he walked towards Long Fei, step by step. But at this time, Long Fei immediately turned silent. He stared at the young lord of the 10,000 beast world with a sinister look in his eyes. What? You dare to glare at your father? Bastard, later on, I will dig out your eyes and let the people of 10,000 worlds know the consequences of offending my 10,000 beast world. Die for me. In the blink of an eye, the 10,000 beast world's young master launched an attack. His palm descended with incomparable savagery. But at this time, Long Fei still did not make a single move. It was just that when the 10,000 beast world's young master approached him, the corner of Long Fei's mouth twitched. With a cold smile, he said, I am only here to see how foolish you are. Why are you in such a hurry to die? I'm afraid that if you go too late, there will be no path for you to reincarnate. His voice was cold, and every word was laced with killing intent. His voice was cold, and every word was laced with killing intent. At this moment, the 10,000 B-Sector Lord's face was suddenly filled with panic. Not good. Son, come back quickly. This kid is fine. The myriad Beast Sector Lord shouted and slashed out again. However, it was already too late. As for the 10,000 Beast World's young master, he was still yearning for the illusion of humiliating Long Fei, so he simply didn't have time to react. His vision changed instantly. Tempest of the Dark Night. The endless darkness was instantly swallowed up by the void. Soon after, a pair of large hands erupted from the darkness and grasped the body of the 10,000 Beast World's young master in their hands. Power of laws? Do you think Lousy doesn't know how to? Your rules are awesome. So what if it is compared to the power of the noble world? Trash with a fighting strength of one. Long Fei said coldly and continued to attack. No! At this time, the myriad beast sector lord roared. The instant that Long Fei made a move, he already felt the power of 3 types of law, and it was an incomparably strong power of law. Don't let my son go. I can consider letting you go. Otherwise, there won't be a place for you even in the myriad realms. Wansho Street Network said in a flustered manner. But to Long Fei, it was just a joke. Threats? Non-existent. Impossible. This time, Long Fei used all of his firepower, not holding anything back. He had even used the power of the laws of the heavens. If he didn't have the strength of a new boss, Why would he let him go? How is this possible? In a split second, Long Fei attacked once again. He pointed out his finger. Boom! Asterisk without any resistance. He directly tore apart the 10,000 Beast World's young master's head with a single finger. Boom! Asterisk in an instant. The pair of large hands that held the 10,000 Beast World's young master fiercely crushed his body. Under the darkness of night, the tempest directly strangled his soul. One wave rush. His movements were as fierce as a tiger, and he directly killed the 10,000 Beast World's young master. Even to the point of death, the 10,000 Beast World's young master still hadn't reacted. He was still immersed in his fantasy dream, and was still thinking about how to humiliate Long Fei. As such, Long Fei's expression did not change, as though he was facing 1,000 beast god of boundary. Dead. You. Ah damn. You actually killed my son. I want your life. The 10,000 beast sector lord was enraged, even though, at his level, they had already long since lost sight of their kinship. After all, not everyone was as loyal as Long Fei. The higher one's cultivation, the less they cared about these things. But after all, this was his 10,000 Beast World's legacy, the young master of the 10,000 Beast World. Therefore, in this instant, the 10,000 Beast God of Boundary went berserk, exploding with endless killing intent. So what if I killed him? What can I do? Moreover, there's one thing that you might be overthinking. It's not that you want to kill me, it's that I'm going to kill you. Long Fei said coldly. In the blink of an eye, yet another grand hand seal of the mortal life was blasted out. Of course, this was not all. Right now, he was already a god of boundary, so other than the consumption of his holy source, there was basically nothing else when he used the mortal life great palm. At the same time, Long Fei was also constantly shouting in his heart, "Explode!" Now, the young master of the 10,000 Beast World had already been killed by him. Long Fei believed that he would definitely be able to give a pleasant surprise. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for slaying the young master of the 10,000 Beast World. You have obtained 3 million points of experience, 3 million points of holy source value, and 1 point of striking value. The system beep appeared. However, it was completely different from what Long Fei was thinking. Damn, system, did I get it wrong? This is a young master of a super strong world. Why are you giving me so little stuff? Where's the divine equipment? Skills? What about the rules? Long Fei retorted in his heart. It was not a surprise at all. It was a shock. Disappointed. Go berserk. Long Fei immediately said, extremely dissatisfied. Now that he was facing the 10,000 beast realms, the mortal life great palm was no longer effective. At most, it could only block. It was impossible to kill. As for the Lord of the Primal Chaos's methods, the Emperor Xian's profound sky battle art, and the ancient set, Long Fei had not really used them yet. But if the power of the system was useless, then the power of the Emperor Xian was useless as well. Ding! Congratulations, player, for obtaining the source strength of 10,000 Beast World. The system beep descended. Long Fei's face instantly changed to the color of a bitter gourd. The power of a world origin stage cultivator? A single striking value gave him a sliver of power. Damn, system, are you here to scam me? Immediately, 10,000 mud horses galloped in Long Fei's heart. Extreme rage. Initially, he wanted to reveal some methods to kill the Sector Lord before his eyes. But now it seemed it was impossible. F*CK, there's no other way. We can only treat it like living horses. World Essence Force, Fusion, 5 elements, Heaven, Shrouding Palm. Long Fei bellowed and struck out his palm. The 5-element Heaven Shrouding Palm was also an extremely high-level skill for Long Fei. After fusing with a single type of power, it could burst forth with the ability to kill. Against this level of boss, the energy level was too low to activate. Other than the primal chaos energy, there was nothing else. Now that he had killed the young master of the 10,000 Beast World, he could release the power of a world origin stage martial artist to activate his ultimate ability. Boom! In an instant, The power of the five elements filled the air as a palm print descended from the sky. The 10,000 beast god of boundary stopped in its tracks, and when it raised its head, its killing intent was dense. Such insignificant skill, with such strength, you dare to use it? Die for this king. The 10,000 beast god of boundary directly ignored him and slashed out. Crash! Asterisk within the sword aura, the power of laws was incomparably violent. The beast shadows of the 10,000 beast world let out monstrous roars as they directly devoured the power of the five elements. In the blink of an eye, the five elemental palm strikes were completely annihilated. No more. Long Fei was startled. He never thought that the five elements shrouding sky palm would actually be so easy to deal with when facing the 10,000 beast realms. No, that's not right. The ultimate skill has not been activated yet. Is the power of the world origin not enough? Long Fei's heart was in a rush. The 10,000 beast god of boundary controlled the laws of the world in its rage, so its power was not enough to kill it. Even though with his current physical body, it wasn't difficult for him to retreat. However, Long Fei was extremely unreconciled. Moreover, this time, it would attract a series of follow-up reactions. They would chase and kill him endlessly. This was what Long Fei didn't want to see the most. However, at this moment, the system's voice appeared again. Ding! The 10,000 beast world's source energy has been consumed. The god of boundaries' edge has been unsealed, and the second ability has been activated. In an instant, the god of boundaries' blade directly appeared in Long Fei's hand. Boom! Suddenly, Long Fei felt his arms sink, as if he was about to fall down. No way, can't hold it? Long Fei's eyes darkened. With a cold snort, he used a lot of strength and grabbed the god of boundaries' blade in his hand. It had to be known that the current Long Fei, who had an arm strength of more than 1,000,000 kilograms, could easily control it. However, this god of boundaries' blade made him feel somewhat powerless, which showed just how strong he was. Haha, the god of boundary blade has been activated? Awesome. System, as expected, you are the most adorable. Long Fei's eyes focused. Holding the god of boundaries blade, he looked at the 10,000 beast god of boundary. Die. Who do you think you are wanting me to die? Berserk Dragon's town world, behead. The skill of Wild Dragon Suppression World, God of Boundaries Blade. The skill of Wild Dragon Suppression World, God of Boundaries Blade. This kind of power was not something that Long Fei could display just because he wanted to. Too many restrictions. A skill could only be used once, unless the next level was activated. But now it was different. The source energy of the 10,000 beast world couldn't activate the five elements heaven shrouding palm. It wasn't because its level wasn't high enough, but the level was too high. It was just like how the saying went, when it doesn't work, it doesn't work. This kind of power was something that the five elements heaven shrouding palm couldn't afford. On the contrary, he unsealed the god of boundaries blade and activated the second layer. This way, the Raging Dragon's Town world would be able to display its might without restraint. Instantly, Long Fei madly waved the god of boundaries blade. Whiz! Rumble! The wild dragon howled, suppressing the heavens and the earth. In the blink of an eye, an enormous dragon, hundreds of thousands of meters long, shot through the air toward Meng Hao. Dragon, the 10,000 beast god of boundaries' face changed. The corners of its eyes were hesitating. In ancient world, the dragon race was perhaps an extremely glorious race. However, the vastness of the starry sky was negligible. Especially after being suppressed by the Xian nationality, he had disappeared into the starry sky. But what shocked Long Fei the most was that after the 10,000 beast god of boundary had seen this wild dragon, it actually revealed a terrified expression. Scared? Would the 10,000 beast god of boundary be afraid of a dragon? Could it be because of Long Batian? Zhang Xian was taken aback. Long Fei could not help but think of Long Batian. Looks like the legends regarding Long Batian still have many unsolved mysteries. If it was only half a month of absolute perfection, How would it be possible to make the strong worlds of this planet feel fear? Long Batian. Long Fei was slightly startled in his heart, but he didn't understand it at all. The scale in the space where he was standing had shattered, but it still maintained its shape, causing him to feel gloomy. But the 10,000 beast god of boundary was the key right now. There was no time to think about Long Batian at all, and it was at this time that Long Fei's mind returned to him, and the wild laughter of 10,000 beast god of boundary came from the void. As expected, the reason you were able to walk out of ancient world is related to that dog Long Batian. There's still the 13 kings. But this is for the best. No matter what secrets you have, they will become the capital of this king. After a short period of panic, the 10,000 beast god of boundary became even more ruthless, cruel, and bloodthirsty. It was as if he wanted to flay Long Fei's skin and pull his tendons out, so he could study him thoroughly. As he said that, the 10,000 beast god of boundary became even more berserk. The sword of laws danced even faster in his hand. Shwa shwa shwa. Rumble. An incomparable surge of power of laws erupted from the longsword. The dragon roared in the air, its body constantly swaying. He was going to forcefully withstand the power. Bang bang. Crack. 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 However, the moment the two powers clashed, the scales began to peel off one by one. It's just that this raging dragon's town was only Long Fei's technique. It simply did not have a physical form, and what it had lost was only Long Fei's holy source value. A piece of scales fell, and Long Fei felt the holy source value from his body being pulled out by several tens of thousands. In the blink of an eye, millions of holy source points were drawn out. This consumption, even Long Fei was speechless. Damn, this kind of consumption, would it squeeze me dry? Long Fei's heart tensed up. Previously, when he killed the Emperor Xian, it was also the Wild Dragon's Town realm. However, it was not that troublesome. The Raging Dragon's Town was a crazy, crushing place. But now, facing this sword of laws, even a dragon couldn't go berserk. Long Fei was a little stunned. He hadn't thought at all that the power of laws would be so strong. In the past, when he cultivated, he had devoured the power of laws. But the difference between laws and laws, with a single word, was a far cry from each other. Because the laws were the power of the existence of the world, and rules were an iron law set by the strongest. It represented an absolutely strong will. The laws of 10,000 worlds were the will of several tens of thousands of powerhouse. The power within was something that a dragon couldn't suppress. Ryu and Blel. Also at this time, the 10,000 beast god of boundary kept releasing sword attacks. The entire dragon rolled through the air in a flash, becoming more and more illusory. This won't do. The power of the Raging Dragon's Town world is simply not a match for him. If this goes on, I'm afraid I won't be a match even if I'm sucked dry. Long Fei's heart sank, and he immediately retracted his hand. Boom! In the blink of an eye, the raging dragon vanished. In the entire space, only the Ascendant's mandate was still emanating an inexhaustible pressure. Come on, continue skipping. Do you think this is still your ancient world? So what if it's the god of boundary, for a person who hasn't even touched the seed of honor? You have no idea what the rule of will is. You still dare to be arrogant? The 10,000 beast god of boundary said, filled with immense hatred. Even if he could crush Long Fei now, it would not be able to dispel the hatred in his heart. And at this moment, in the void above the 10,000 beast world, countless figures were gathered. They were all people from the 10,000 worlds. The rules of the 10,000 worlds were almost overturned. As the strongest person of the 10,000 worlds, he naturally felt touched and hurriedly sent people to investigate. These people were all from worlds below the 10,000 beast world. Ridiculous. You actually want to overturn the rules? Hey, Quang Long, why isn't he acting crazy this time? There's no need to look. This kid is dead. Rules are rules. Is it something that can be disobeyed just by looking at trash? But dying like this is too easy of him. All the powerhouse in our world died because of him. In the future, If the people from ancient world come, we definitely cannot let them have a good time. All the powerhouse of the myriad realms gathered and looked at the 10,000 beast god of boundary with incomparably scornful gazes. Long Fei was definitely going to die. This was their understanding. At this time, Long Fei had already withdrawn from the Raging Dragon's town. Mother of Asterisk, if I don't show my power, are you sure you can do it? Long Fei's gaze turned cold. The god of boundary blade in his hand was raised again. Haha, you still dare to attack? Trash, your strength is nothing but trash before this king's rules. It's good to resist. The more this king resists, the more excited this king is. When all your tactics have been used up, this king will send you to hell and make you despair. The 10,000 beast god of boundary laughed loudly. It turned the tip of the rules in its hand and slashed at Long Fei. Rumble. This time, it was even more violent. He had already brought the power of the edicts to their limits. He was terrifyingly strong. Even the starry sky began to fall, subject to the laws of the myriad realms. In the middle of the battle was a scene of doomsday. But in Long Fei's eyes, there was determination. Looking at the god of boundary's blade, he took a deep breath. Send your father to hell. You don't even have the qualifications. If the first slash doesn't work, then another. It's just the edicts of 10,000 worlds. You still want to suppress me? There's only one rule for me, and that is to kill Buddha when blocking or God when blocking. Dragon resisting the heavens. Chop for me. Long Fei shouted and finally made his move. The second skill of God of Boundary Blade, Dragon resisting the heavens, beautifully appear on stage. Drawing the blade to cut the void, the dragon riding the heavens. Drawing the blade to cut the void, the dragon riding the heavens. Long Fei pulled out his blade, and it was as if a ruler descended upon the heaven and earth. With one saber in hand, heaven and earth were at peace. This dragon, soaring through the 9 heavens, was the second move of the god of Boundary Blade. The conditions were also very harsh, so he could only use it once. Only by removing the third power would he be able to use it for an unlimited amount of time. But right now, Long Fei was not in the mood to care about all these. Walala! At this moment, the deafening sound of a blade pierced through the void, instantly causing extreme pressure to weigh down. Silence. Only the dragon roars could be heard. It was as dull as a thunderbolt, but enough for all living beings to revere it. Boom! In the blink of an eye, a saber light covered the skies. 9 draconic shadows, shaped like blades, directly pierced through the void. Immediately after, a huge dragon emerged beneath Long Fei's feet. He directly had Long Fei's figure appear above the sky. He was like an exalted sovereign, ruling the heavens. Roar! The colossal dragon roared. At this moment, the entire space was filled with the roars of dragons. Is this thing even a dragon? How could it be like this? I feel as if my heart is filled with a sense of inferiority, and I can't help but kneel down. The 9 dragons that cover the void, this is too terrifying. How big was the void? It was hard to describe. But now, the 9 dragons directly covered the entire sky. Even though it was just the skies above the 10,000 beast world and this part of the world itself, it was enough to shock these people. Of course, the god of boundary had the most reaction. His face was filled with disbelief. At this moment, his hands could not help but tremble. In other words, the sword of laws in his hand was trembling. Crack! 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 It was also at this time that cracks began to appear between the rules in the 10,000 beast god of boundary. No, that's impossible. There is absolutely no power that can rule over all. Sword of the laws, chop. Boom! The god of boundary of 10,000 beasts seemed to have gone mad. He continuously brandished the sword of laws in his hand. Boom! But at this time, the 9 huge dragons, which had connected at the end and enveloped the entire space, suddenly opened their eyes and looked towards the 10,000 beast god of boundary at the same time. Roar! The 9 dragons roared furiously. The sky shook. A furious roar pierced through the void. The 10,000 worlds, people all felt like they were suffocating as their bodies were being pressured. In the end, they directly knelt down and kowtowed to Long Fei. Even the 10,000 beast god of boundary was not much better right now. The sword of laws in his hand instantly shattered, and the power of tens of thousands of laws instantly vanished into nothingness. 10,000 beast god of boundary's body was crushed by the power of 9 dragons in an instant. Puff, 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 puff. The 10,000 beast god of boundary spat out blood instantly. It looked like it didn't need money, as it spat out mouthfuls after mouthfuls of blood. Sigh. Asterisk, the immense pressure caused even the god of boundary divine equipment on his body to crumble. It was completely annihilated, leaving not a single trace behind. Impossible. The power of laws, my power of laws. The 10,000 beast god of boundary's expression suddenly changed, as if flames were spewing out of its eyes, and even its teeth were grinding so hard that crackling sounds could be heard. As he looked at Long Fei, a murderous intent that shot into the sky exploded out. In the air, Long Fei was constantly clicking his tongue. Damn, is he that fierce? The power of the laws of this world is gone. Just like that. Does it have to be so violent? Long Fei was extremely excited. He never thought that God of Boundary Blade's second slash would actually be this powerful. Long Fei knew that the power of the god of Boundary Blade gave enough hope for this blade attack. He believed that exploding the 10,000 beast god of Boundary before him would not be a problem. However, he did not expect that the power of this slash had yet to come out. He had just gotten up. The tens of thousands of rules had actually directly collapsed. Even the 10,000 beast god of Boundary could not withstand it at all, and even its armor had exploded. A truly invincible strength. With this thought in mind, Long Fei no longer hesitated. Riding on the heaven-defending dragon's blade, the god of boundary in his hand turned around and slashed down. Instantly, the entire world shook. Everything had disappeared, leaving only this unparalleled saber strike. It was also at this time that the 10,000 beast god of boundary suddenly let out a loud shout. No! My 10,000 beast world is a super strong world. This king is also a super powerhouse of the myriad realms. I definitely won't lose to you. There are no heavenly beasts in the 10,000 beast world fuse. The 10,000 beast god of boundary roared, and its body started to change unceasingly. His entire body began to swell, and even spikes of beast hair began to appear on his body. Each of them was like a gigantic tree, incomparably ferocious. Long Fei was also stunned. The change in the 10,000 beast god of boundary at this moment made him think of a person. Sky Sovereign Huwu. This method was like the second form. However, this kind of power and pressure was not something that the Sky Sovereign Huwu could compare with. This change was in the form of a wild beast, incomparably berserk. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The ferocious beast, transformed from the 10,000 beast god of boundary, suddenly stood up. It stood there in the void. Haha, you bastard. This king has already merged with the power of the heavenly beasts of my 10,000 beast world. Even the heavens will overturn it. Your strength can't injure me at all. Ha! If you dare be arrogant again, let me see. The god of boundary of 10,000 beasts turned into a beast, laughing maniacally. Amidst his maniacal laughter, he directly threw a punch towards the heavens and earth. And at this time, Long Fei's blade also loudly crashed down. Boom! Boom! The two forces collided. It instantly burst forth with boundless, resplendent light. Rumble. Explosions sounded one after another. However, right at that moment, a miserable shriek suddenly rang out. No, how could this be? How could this be? I'm a corporeal body. No. It was the 10,000 beast god of boundary. Miserable screams sounded one after another, almost to the point of wailing. Idiot, you think the power of God of Boundary's blade is so easy? Even someone as powerful as the Emperor Xian was slashed by the God of Boundary's blade. Do you think you are immortal? 10,000 beast worlds, heavenly beast? They all have to die. Longface said coldly. Earlier, when the 9 dragons were soaring through the sky, he was able to cut through the world with one slash. They were all just the starting moves of this dragon resisting heavens. The true damage was dealt by this blade. No matter what you fused with, there was no one left alive. And at this moment, the entire sky above suddenly rumbled. Pieces of his body, which were like mountains, fell to the ground. It was the 10,000 beast god of boundary. This time, the impact was met with a slash from Longfei. No, don't kill me. I can give you everything I have in the 10,000 beast world. You could directly rule over 10,000 worlds. With one leap, you could become the super strong world of the place where 10,000 worlds intersect. Anything is fine as long as you let me go. The 10,000 beast god of boundary begged for mercy, as all it had left was its head. But Longfei was completely indifferent. Begging for mercy? Did I kill your son? Longfei said. So what? As long as I'm alive, I can have as many sons as I want. The 10,000 beast god of boundaries said. All dignity. She did not care about anything else, but she kept begging Longfei to spare his life. However, in Longfei's opinion, he was just a clown. The things that you said, as long as I kill you, I will have plenty as well. I've said it before, 10,000 rules is my ass. My rule is to kill Buddha when blocking, or God when blocking. You're no exception. Die. Longfei's eyes fixed, and the god of boundary in his hand suddenly smashed downwards. Ding! You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.